Blessings and light be on all of you in this holiday season as we're going through the 12 days of Christmas and getting ready for New Year's. I think everybody is ready for this year to be over and hopefully for a new year to start. Let's go ahead and introduce the other people that are here with me. I should introduce myself first. I am Charlie. I'm a non-binary sci-fi fantasy writer, and I'm a member of the board for Creation Spirituality Communities. I am joined by the wonderful Megan McCarthy, the
Hello.
phenomenal Carrie Harditsky. Did I say that right? Yes. Amazing Glory Fink, and the phenomenal Cat Leo. And I am so ready for this year to be over.
I got a good feeling about next year.
I do too. I have done some card pulls. I have really been looking at a lot of things. I think there may be some rough patches next year.
Cautiously
But
optimistic.
Yes.
We all went into 2020 like, this is it, this is our year, and then,
I did. If you
Yeah.
recall, I was in the hospital. It was awful.
oh no,
I
don't think I knew you then yet.
yeah, no, we didn't know each other yet.
yeah,
We met in
But everybody was
2020.
hyping up the new decade, and then
2020 was the year that the of the accidental meeting of the first group of the psychic writers of the apocalypse.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, if it actually wasn't for 2020 and the pandemic, none of us would have probably met.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's how I
if
met.
you have,
Charlie.
yeah, gotta find a bright side out of it.
It was like through that April write-a-thon thing.
Because I have to say, like, for me, I don't want to take away from anyone who lost loved ones or anything during the pandemic, because I've lost a couple friends, but the things that I have gained personally in having to take that time to figure out, well, what is it that I want? Like, I don't have those excuses of, well, I'm just going to go out and get distracted. I'm going to go hang out with my friends and get distracted. That basically year locked down
Mhm.
where actually we spent more than that lockdown because we help to take care of my parents, and because neither one of them can get sick, like we just didn't do we barricaded ourselves off until after vaccinations so that we wouldn't risk sharing anything with them, though my brother did not have the same love, care, or concern and did give them the panini. So that's laid plans, but it really did help focus me on like what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be, because I didn't have the group that I normally ran around with to reinforce my habits and behaviors, and I couldn't go do the engage in my habits and behaviors. And so it was an interesting refresh of just all the things that make me who and what I am. And I have to say, I feel like a better person because of it. Because I don't know that I would have allowed myself the soul searching that I ended up going through because of my unscheduled mental health vacation. Like, soul searching is a scary time because it's like, am I ruminating or actually like thinking about things I need to be thinking about? Which is it this time? And I feel like we're in a better place now than we have been in a while, just both personally in our own lives, and just, I don't know, there feels like there's something different in the air. Like, I don't want to get all like how I am, but I just feel like something good. There's something good in the air. I don't know what it is, but it just feels ever so close. So I'm probably going to have to mute in a second because the hubby just got home. Brian just got home, and hopefully he remembers that we went live already. So why don't we just rush a little bit forward and have Glory light the candle for us while he's coming in, so I can mute my mic.
Sure. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And I would like to invite you, if you feel so comfortable in doing so, to call on the archangels with me. I do love this prayer so much because it is so simple. You don't have to ask yourself which is north, south, east, or west, because all you have to know is your right from your left, which, as you just noticed, I sometimes have problems with myself. So,
I do too.
may the Archangel Michael, the Archangel of Compassion, stand to our right. And may the Archangel Gabriel, the Archangel of Strength, stand to our left. And may the Archangel Uriel, the Archangel of Light, guide us as he walks before us. And the Archangel Raphael, the Archangel of Healing, stand behind us. And may the Shekhinah, the glorious presence of God, ever be above us, enfolding us in her wings, where she might guide and guard us all the days of our lives. Amen.
Amen.
And one of these days I will have to do a video explaining why I clap 3 times after every time I say a prayer, because I get asked that every now and then.
It feels right.
Yes, and very specific training. So we are getting ready for the new year. And like we were saying before, I think we're very, very ready for it. One of the things that we have done in our family that I wanted to share with everyone else is we have stopped doing New Year's resolutions, because what we found is we made a list of basically a pre-prepped guilt list for the year to come. Here are all the things that I'm going to tell myself: that I'm going to start exercising so many times a week. I am going to do this much writing. I'm going to do this much, this much that. And that's generally how we phrase resolutions. And it's so easy to break those. It is so easy to turn that into a curse on our lives rather than something that's actually motivational, that makes us actually want to change. And so what we have started doing over the years is instead phrasing it as, what blessings do I want in my life? What blessings do I want to be for others in my life? And looking at it more from the perspective of actions that need to be taken. So they can be as vague as, may we have more health and wellness in the new year. Honestly, most of the foods that we enjoy are, oddly enough, some of the healthier foods, because I like a lot of like fermented foods and like Korean and food and Japanese food, and like the things that the doctors tell you nowadays are good for you. Like I love a lot of Mediterranean food. We were talking about that before the show got started, which the doctors are like, hey, maybe you should be a more Mediterranean diet. So may we have more food that we enjoy in our lives, because when we say that, we're talking about a lot of those kinds of foods. May we be more creative. May we be more open, and looking at the actual virtues and blessings that we want to bring to our life. Like, I want to be more mobile. That's not the same as saying I'm going to exercise every day, but it's a simple blessing. May I be more mobile in the new year? Because to do so, I'm going to have to get up more. I'm going to have to walk more. I'm going to have to be more active. But it's not setting a clock on that to create guilt. Because if I tell myself I'm going to work up to walking an hour a day or whatever, that's easy to create guilt around, because it just takes one bad back day. Because I have a bad back and I have bad knees. My back starts acting up, and now I feel guilty because I can't do my walk today. And it's not about the exercise. Yeah, the exercise is good, but the point is not, I want to be the best at the exercise. The point is, I want to be more mobile. May I be more mobile in the new year? And so, in that, when I feel like being up and moving around, I am reminded to get up and move more, to dance when music is on, instead of just sitting there going, I really like this song. Actually getting out of my chair and dancing. Because mobility is not just that exercise practice that I want to do, or getting on the stationary bike and building myself back up. It's more than that. And that's what I wanted to invite people to start thinking about. How could you rephrase your resolutions into just actions and activities that you can encourage yourself to do more often, that it's going to be harder to guilt trip yourself about later? Because that's where I feel resolutions just fail, is they're just guilt traps. I'm going to eat less cookies. Okay, what is less cookies? Like, you eat one less cookie in a year. Do you know how many cookies you ate last year? Like, I see so many resolutions are just guilt traps because they're either too specific.
Hold on, why would you want to eat less cookies?
I know. I was like,
I literally came back because I had to go pour my pasta into my water. I'm like, why would you eat less cookies?
Are we talking like, I'm only going to grab 6 Oreos instead of a whole sleeve? Like,
well, you know how everybody makes these health resolutions. Like, those seem to be like the most popular ones. Like, I'm going to go to the gym every week or whatever. And it's like, no, you're not. You're never going to the gym. You're just... Maybe you will, I don't know, but maybe not make it that specific that you have to go to a particular place that you don't know if it's going to be in business, that you don't know if it's going to be open at the hours that you're going to feel like being there. Maybe not be so specific, because all of the health related ones, especially, are just traps. They're just traps to help us feel guilty. I want my life next year to be more colorful. And I mean that in so many ways. Like, one of the blessings I've been saying every day since I made my list is just that. I want my life to be more colorful. And I mean that in simple ways. Like, I want to start dyeing my hair again. I want color back. Probably purple. I really miss my purple hair. I really miss my purple hair.
We can half match.
I have purple dye. I haven't done either. Like, I've got
I'm
two.
like, we can half match.
I'm dying to dye my hair purple. Like,
I have a box of purple and a box of blue.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I was like, ooh, if I do blue, it'll look like those old comic book 4-color comics.
Yeah.
Like Lois Lane and stuff. Yeah. So anyway, nobody asked. But anyway. I was doing this Zoidberg in the anime style of G.I. Joe episode. It's kind of fun. I should do that more too.
Yeah.
Hello, friends. Okay, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you're not entirely wrong. Like, I feel like y'all are really starting to get to know me. Because I can't really clap back because it's like... Yes. I have someone hovering over me. I'm sorry.
Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, the idea kind of stems out of the Buddhist idea of attachment, and one of the practices to help one avoid attachment and thus suffering is like when you have a favorite cup, for instance, or a mug that you love drinking coffee out of. It's your favorite mug. Instead of going, I love this one mug, you take it one step back and you go, I love mugs. So this way, if that mug breaks, you don't have the suffering because you're not attached to that mug. You're just attached to mugs. You can get a new one, replace it, and move on. And it's kind of the same thing with the New Year's resolutions. Instead of making them so specific that they're going to fail or set you up for a chance of failing, at least, where most, I mean, let's be honest, most of us don't make it because it's so specific. Making them a little more generalized, like instead of I'm gonna cycle so many minutes every day, it'll be like I'm gonna be mobile, get up and move around. I will be more active.
Yeah.
So this way, then it makes it easier to attain, and thus not having the suffering that comes in late January when somebody goes, wow, I failed at my resolutions for so many days in a row. So now forget about it. Sylvie, I'm done, and not even trying after that. It's like, you have 11 more months of trying your resolutions. I mean, I've done it. I've set them and then went, I didn't make the specific resolution for 10 days in a row. It's now the middle of January. Okay, the rest of the year is a waste. I'm just going to indulge now. And eat entire cartons of ice cream. And it was a glorious year of lots of ice cream being eaten, but I would have benefited better from going, I will have less ice cream this year.
Or simply, I will use the bowls that we got for ice cream instead of bringing the whole container into the room.
Yeah. With a container.
Well, I think of it as a resolution says that there's something about me that is not good enough, versus a goal says, or blessing says, hey, I am good enough, but here's where I would like to look at a little change, which change is part of being alive and human. It is inevitable. So why not direct the change? But it's not that there's anything wrong with me or wrong with my life. It's just, hey, let me try to attempt to possibly steer the change a little, but not necessarily emotionally attached to it. And I think that that's part of it. Is like a resolution says, no, you are wrong. You are not right. And when you start from that negative place, it is a setup for failure every time.
Yes.
I think compassion and unconditional love are the way to achieve goals without a lot of emotional turmoil.
That's a great way to phrase it.
Tom says, the point is that better than a resolution is giving yourself the mindset to look for opportunities in the upcoming year in things you want to do and enjoy more, or behaviors you want to gain.
And I love that you said that, because that's a lot of what I was trying to get across, because with my desire to be more mobile, for example, those little moments of just dancing when the music's on, just giving myself those little chances, they're things that you don't often consider, because I'm somebody who very easily gets on rails. I am doing this thing, and other opportunities just kind of fall by the wayside. I just go straight past them. And having these little reminders, which is one of the things for me, is helpful to actually word them in this format where I can recite them to myself. I learned when I was studying Buddhism a long time ago, Lojong works really well for me. Having a motto, having something that you say to yourself regularly to remind yourself what it is you're doing is so helpful. It's so powerful. And I know for myself that's something that I require. So by wording these as blessings, when I do my morning prayers, I just tack these on. You know, may I do this, may I have this, may I be this. And it also really, for me, is empowering, and it makes you ask the question of, is it something I want to have? Is this something I want to be, or something I want to do? Because I think that's the other place where resolutions fall flat. Because again, like I was saying with the exercise, I don't want to be the best at getting up and walking for an hour, or riding the bike for so many miles. Like, that's not, you know, for some people that really is motivating for them. And if that's you, more power to you. That's not my motivation. I want to be mobile. I want, it's something I want to change about how I am. It's not that I want to do exercise. I want to be mobile. So what can I do to facilitate that? And that little change in wording helps me understand some of the little changes that I need to be making in my own life and how I actually proceed going forward. Let's see. Tom says, also, instead of telling yourself what you need to figure out, what is it you outwardly want to be aware of for the following year? Yeah, I remember one year we had some friends over for back before the panini, when we would have friends over for New Year's Eve, which we're doing again this year for the first time. We were sitting around and we were basically doing this together. And a friend of mine who, let's just say she's known for being rather flippant, was like, "May there be world peace." And we all applauded. And she was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "That's wonderful that you're dedicating yourself to being so compassionate next year, that compassion is spread to all the people around you, that you're just going to be this beacon of hope and compassion to people, to inspire them to be compassionate and hopeful, to keep spreading it on so that we can actually have a better world." And she stopped. She's like, I didn't think about it that way. Like, yeah, but you can. Like, these bigger things that we want. Yeah, I can't wave a magic wand and bring peace to Ukraine. I may not be able to affect that at all, but I can control how I am with other people, how I am with the people around me. And by doing so, I am actively putting peace into the world. I can have that goal of may there be peace in the world, right? And that just means I have to remind myself, how am I an instrument of that peace? How am I not engaging in the drama when people really keep trying to drag me into it? How do I not just be a part of the problem? And it doesn't even mean necessarily that you have to be part of the solution. Just sometimes being the dam that stops the bad thing from going down the road is a really good thing to be. I know for a lot of people in my life, there are a lot of things that have kind of gotten to me that I was able to cut off before they got to other people downstream.
Mm.
So there's a lot of things that you can do to even have those, to fulfill those high-minded goals of may there be world peace. Because, yeah, we might not be able to actually change the whole world, but we can affect the world around us and the people that we're interacting with. And it's a really, there are very few things that motivate me. I will be very honest. Motivation is not a friend of mine. Like, she comes over to the house every now and then. Like, we do each other's nails, and but like most of the time, you know, she's flighty. She likes to go out and be with her other friends and not come visit, you know. But this is one of those things that I find motivational because it encourages me to rethink the things that I already do, the things that I'm already a part of. And if anybody read the piece that I wrote for Project Shadow this week, invites that kind of practical naivete that is so vital for our world today, where I can encourage myself to believe, even for a split second, that the good thing is possible. And that little glimmer of a hope is very motivating to me, because I don't get a lot of that in my regular life. So I just wanted to share this idea with you and encourage you all to just kind of think, how might you phrase your goals and desires and resolutions for the upcoming years in ways that aren't just traps that you're laying in front of you? Because, you know, I know we all have ambitions for the year to come. We all have big things that we want to do and accomplish and be a part of.
Yes.
And the last thing that we need to do is set up stumbling blocks in our own path.
And it also depends on how you work. Like, do goals even work for you? Do you have to break it down into super small goals? Or can you just have like this big broad goal?
Yeah, because for me, the broad goal works best because I can talk myself out of the little things. I'm really good at talking myself out of doing things. Like, I just don't have the energy for that. I don't feel like doing that today. I just don't have the energy to put into that. I'm really good at talking myself out of that. But when I have, for me at least, when I have these bigger things in mind, okay, so maybe I don't feel like going to do this over there, but maybe I could. Like, my biggest trick for self-motivation is getting myself to get to the, well, I guess I could just, and actually do something positive anyway. It's one of the reasons why I think people think that I'm like productive. I'm not. I am the world's greatest procrastinator. I just trick myself into doing a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit over here, and eventually it's like, oh look, I have a thing. There's a thing.
A thing.
And then go on and do the next. Go on to the next. And every time I've given myself like a big goal of I am going to do this specific thing, oh, all of the worry, all of the doubt, all of the anxiety spirals in, right? Like with starting the Substacks, which is something that I'm very happy that I did this year. I'm really looking forward to doing next year. If I tell myself I am going to write 1 post a week, 0 posts a week will go out on all of these, because, well, I'm only doing 1 post a week, so it's got to be the perfect post. Like, is this the perfect post? Is this the one that I need to be doing? Oh, I'll find a better idea. I'll find a better idea. No, I can't write this one because I need to write the one thing. So I'm very clear. Like, you will get posts from me because maybe I'll have a lot of ideas that are time sensitive. So there will be several that come out in a week. Maybe there will just be the one, or maybe I'll write a bunch and schedule them out over time. But by not giving myself that specific locked in, what I know for me is a trap of saying I'm doing 1 a week.
Mm-hmm.
1 a week means nothing will happen.
But a lot of stress.
Yes. And instead, like, I have, just like today, I woke up this morning. I did not feel like doing anything at all. I loaded up a video game. I played for a little bit. And then I got a nagging idea, and I wrote a poem. And I started thinking about the poem, and then I wrote the hook for a song that may be associated with the poem. I don't know. And then while I was listening to it, I thought to myself, I don't think I ever put on my About page that I do music. And it was just a follow the white rabbit scenario that got me to do all of these things that I did today. I completely rewrote the About page over at Project Shadow. I redid the tiers so that people understand what they're paying for if they decide to become a paying member over there. I rewrote the welcome messages on all of those because now I know what I'm offering you. I know what to say in the letters better. It was just a snowball going down a hill that kept going, oh, and that, and that, and that, and that. And that's how I work best. And I know that might not work for everyone, but that's why, like, these, setting myself up with these little intentions, or sometimes big intentions, but these intentions rather than specific, I'm going to lose X number of pounds, or I'm going to be able to walk for so long or ride the bike for so many miles. Those don't motivate me, because that's like a barrier, like, oh, a mile seems like such a long, that's such a long distance. Like, oh, how long will I have to sit in that chair? That chair is not very comfortable. Like, how's my back? Is my back going to be okay sitting on the bike for that long? Like, oh, I can talk myself out of it so easily. But, I want to have more music in my life. Well, I don't like just sitting still while I'm listening to music. And I've got a really good stereo in the room, stereo system in the room where our stationary bike is. So while I'm sitting there
made
going,
me think that I need to get an exercise bike. Thank you.
I have it all back in the basement. I just need a bigger
and
for it.
pedal for
because-
hours.
I love ours. We have a recumbent bike because with my back, I can't sit up in a regular bike.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got an actual chair, and my legs are more forward and less underneath me, which puts less stress on your knees because I have bad knees. And yeah, it's a thing that it is a thing that I can do, because also in that room there's a television right there, so I can want to watch a show and then get antsy because I'm watching a show, but I want to pay attention to the show, but I'm antsy. Oh, maybe I should.
When I first got my exercise bike, I got this old exercise bike from my aunt, my great aunt. And I do need to get a bigger seat for it because she's a tiny lady and I have a booty. So that's why I haven't used it in a long time. But I would look up like cycling videos on YouTube and put it up on the TV. That was actually a lot of fun. Like spin class kind of things.
Mm.
Yeah, the trick to all of this is find out what motivates you and moving forward. And that's why, like, I think the worst thing that we do for New Year's is we sit around and go, what are your resolutions? And not talk about how do you motivate yourself to actually do things.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we all have to figure out. And our techniques don't necessarily work for each other. But while I don't think a spin class video would work for me, there are a lot of like GoPro videos.
Can I just tell you what's really fun? So people make these videos and post them on YouTube of these bike riding, and some of them are real bike rides and some of them are entirely animated. And like, so you can like, actually, you can even, if you get the right tech, which Tom and I have actually looked up, you can even have that tech so that it stays in sync with your bike ride. So if you bike faster, the video will go faster, kind of stuff, or slower. And it is so. Also, there are groups where you can actually get together online and do group bike rides together, and they don't necessarily cost anything to be part of the group. You know, there's like free forum type situations where people can then ride together. And it's like you just get a tablet, so it, you know, your tablet will have the rest of the group rides with you. You can see everybody and who's going ahead, and who's, you know, and you're all watching the same videos. It's really cool and fun and motivating. And we looked into it there in the beginning of the Panini because Tom absolutely loves to ride bikes, and he has a nice real bike, you know, for outdoor. But with the Panini and everything, we were like, well, let's see what you can do inside. And it is surprisingly affordable to set up a real bike so that it's a, you know, for exercise indoors. Like, because like part of it was, yeah, there's not a lot of the exercise bikes that are made for larger folks such as ourselves, you know.
That's why I like the one that we have.
The big booties.
Yeah.
And as well as some of them, even when they say, oh no, rated 4, they still feel so rickety, versus we knew Tom's bike was a really good quality one, that very durable. And so, yeah, we did all sorts of research early in the Panini on this, and it just was so cool. And it was so nice to see you could literally bike with people all over the planet. And yes, they do have races where you can race with people. And as somebody said in one of the research on YouTube, be prepared to get your butt handed to you from 80-year-olds. This will happen. There's a lot of elderly people on these websites doing this, and they are so fast. And if you're just starting the first year or two, just understand if they are over 70, they're definitely going to beat you. Just accept it. Be cool with it. Everybody else understands. Nobody's going to, you know, drag on you for getting your butt handed to you by seniors. It's just part and parcel with this, because those people are really into it. And I was like, that's actually kind of funny. Also, they're like, be warned, there also will be 6-year-olds. And if you're doing the one where you can hear everybody talking to each other while they're racing, like hearing these squeaky little voices go, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I'm coming to the right. It's like a video game. So you're supposed to like kind of move your handlebars a little off so that to make room for them to go forward, just like in like what Mario Kart and stuff. And it's like to the right. It's just like, and so this guy was saying like, be understanding that you are pretty much going to be beat by 6-year-olds and 70 somethings. And everybody understands, like, there's not an ego into this. And I was like, this is adorable. I just want to watch the videos of these races and stuff. And they'll like race around animated versions of like the Louvre, and people will make these race videos so that everybody can race around these animations all over all the greatest landmarks in the world. It is the coolest dang thing.
That's really cool. And really brings up one of the other things that hopefully we can all do for a lot of our plans for the upcoming year. All of the things that we want to see happen is, remember, everything's better when you do it together. I know this is like the one thing we come back to all the time, that we are a pack species, but I feel like with the hyper capitalism and like the ascendance of so many people that read Atlas Shrugged and didn't realize that like it's like the world's first Reddit post, like it's like a 4chan thread.
A cautionary tale. Anyway. By the way, Kitty, here's your kitty. She went from nappy to.
Yeah. Brian went into the other room to eat, and she's just like, but you're home. Why aren't you playing with me? Like, she's just heartbroken.
Come on, I demand attention.
Where's my attention? Come on. But yeah, remembering that it's so important to get together and, okay, unless you really need it, because again, I don't want to like take anything away from people. I'm not trying to take anything away from people that actually does help them, but not necessarily getting together in accountability groups, because again, this is a shame circle that we create for ourselves to be like, hi, could you ritually shame me periodically to ensure that I do what I'm wanting to do?
That's some wild stuff. The shame circle. I've witnessed it. And I'm like, why are you willingly going into a toxic environment? Why?
Yeah. Just
I wish to be cheered and supported, not shamed and scolded.
But to find
like, my parents are dead. I don't need this.
But like, find that pack of people that will help keep you motivated. Like, my creativity, while I have had struggles off and on for the last year or so, has been so spurred on by just being in a group of other writers, seeing what they're doing. Like, this is the one great thing about Substack, is it can't be out of sight, out of mind, because I'm subscribed to everybody on screen. And so every time I see like, ooh, I got a new post from, was it Carrie the last one I got, or was it Megan?
Yeah, I just got one
Carrie.
Yeah, okay, so it was Carrie today. And I was like, ooh.
A new pleasure.
What are you up to? And ooh, what should I be writing for my next one? It's
very inspiring to see what everyone else is writing about too.
Being in this group where I'm seeing the productivity. I'm seeing, but being in this group where I'm seeing all of this productivity from people, it is so inspirational, because when I'm having a day of like, well, my back is really hurting, and I don't feel like doing this, or my joints are acting up, and I see Carrie putting a post out or a video out or something, and I'm just like, well, she also has joint pain and back pain and a child, and she got something done. Maybe I can too. And it's not a guilt thing. Like, well, I have all this extra time because I don't.
Yeah,
it's more like,
think of me. She's putting all this stuff out, and I'm not. It's just more like, oh, well, she's doing. You know what? I could write something.
Yeah.
Like, it's just more like, oh yes, my friend is doing this, and yeah, I could too, but not like she'll be mad at me, but more like she would be happy that I would be doing it with her, so to speak, sorta, because she'd be like, oh, you too. Then I know that, and I just feel more encouraged.
And we need more of those kinds of relationships in our lives. Like, if there's one kind of thing that I can recommend everyone to do, is whatever your big interest is. If it's music, find a group of musicians to hang out with. Just figure out where they might congregate and go there. Is there a cafe that has an open mic night? You will meet the most interesting people. They may not be the best people to hang out with forever, but you will meet the most interesting people, and maybe your new friend that will help you get more into music or poetry or whatever. whatever it is, whatever those interests are that you're wanting to try to do more of, surrounding yourself by people that are also doing that, that have the bonus of not being ultra negative about it. Because that's the other part of this, is we really need to get beyond the toxic relationships that we build. Because it's not about, how many books did you write last year? No. You have to be in a supportive group. But finding those people, finding that tribe and building it so that you have those people around you to just be inspired by them. Like, I probably would not have started doing music if it wasn't for a friend of mine who honestly lives really far away. He lives, well, not really far, but he lives in Memphis, and he is a musician, and he is phenomenal. And we started talking about this album that he wants to do, and he started sending me the sheet music and the lyric sheets, and we just kept going back and forth, and he would send me these little, like, set his phone up and just play, like, I think I figured out the chorus of this song, send it to me back and forth. And the fact that he knew that I had an audio engineering background, that I had done music before, that I had been involved in this, and that this was such a passion for me, like, he just nurtured that and got me thinking, well, maybe I can do something too, and started playing around and noodling around with my own stuff until, a couple years ago, when I started doing those little lo-fi covers that went out on the main channel, and then the other stuff that followed. It was having, it was him and a couple other friends of mine that also do music, just being around them. Like, they're creative people have this creative radiation about them that is contagious. Yes. And it's wonderful to surround yourself with that. So whatever it is, if you want to paint, if you want to knit, find some people that knit. If you want to learn how to, whatever, find that group of people that are doing that, and avoid all the toxic ones that you can. Like, this is the world that we live in, and it's very hard to get rid of all of them. But
there's so many.
But really, that to me is like my main goal for this year, is just to see what all we can do as a group together. Because I know what my plans are. I've talked with several other people about what their plans are. And I don't think any of us are doing anything similar to each other at all. Like, that's one, the exciting thing is we're going to have so much data we can come back together on, because we're all doing things just a little bit different from each other, little bit. But we'll be able to share in each other's triumphs, because honestly, as a writer, anytime you hit publish on something, triumph. Other triumphs come later with sales and stuff that follow, but
I still just feel empty after I hit publish. It's like, someone hold me. I am regretting every decision I've ever made now. Let me to hit publish every time. Why am I like this?
Oh, that is the one and only time I feel happy about being a writer. Because up into that, I am worried. I am a spiral of doubt and shame.
Oh, no.
I hit it, and I become that 5-year-old kid wanting their mom to put the picture they just drew on the refrigerator. Like, I did this.
I don't make enough dopamine to feel that, Charlie. It's like I enjoy the whole process of writing, even the editing phase and all of that. And my brain is oatmeal from editing. But the moment I hit publish and there's no dopamine, it's just like, somebody come feed me bun, something.
This is honestly the reason I hit publish so much. It's why people get so much from me.
It's why I don't hit publish. It's why I've got 20 years of hoarded stuff, because I don't get the dopamine. That's why I really appreciate having all of y'all to keep cheering me, because I need it, because I don't get the dopamine. So I regret every time I actually publish. Why did I do that? Why? Nobody will like it. Everybody will hate it. People will say bad things.
Well, one, I've turned that one into my greatest superpower, because if I'm working on a story and I do not think to myself, this is the thing that will ruin my career, this is the wrong story to be working on. Every story I've ever been like, yep, this is the one. This is the perfect one. This is the story. No one will ever read it. It will die in obscurity. It will go out and not a single person will read it ever. People will be nice and be like, the cover's really neat, and like that's all they'll ever say about it. Like, I really like how you phrased the back cover copy for it. Like,
Oh wow.
oh,
Well,
okay.
that's my faint praise.
Oh yeah. But every time I'm like, and I have ended it all. This is the end of me. There will be no more of me. Oh wait, how many did it sell? Wait, what? What
I feel
happened?
that way about most of the YouTube titles for my shows. Of like, oh, the shame! I can't believe I published that title. Oh, every time I see it in my recommends, it's like, oh, I did that title.
Because
My name's attached.
the first time I ever felt that way was with Shine Like Thunder, and within I think 3 weeks of that book coming out, somebody sent me a filk song that they wrote based on the events of the story to the tune of a Nirvana song.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they specifically noted that they were pretty sure they had heard me say that I liked Nirvana and tried to find the right Nirvana song that they could do this to.
That is so sweet.
Oh,
And I was like, well, okay, I guess it wasn't the worst thing ever. And then
Right?
I
It was
saw
inspiring.
like, oh, people actually read that one. Okay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because what I have learned is I always sell short what people are interested in.
Mm.
And I always think that I am actually I was talking with a friend of mine last night, and she said the most honest, truthful, like, why didn't you just stab me in the heart thing about me that I've had somebody say to me in a while. We were talking about life and what's going on right now, and she just said, you know, Charlie, I think you think you're a lot more broken than you could ever possibly be.
You're
And
right.
yet, that hi, this is my new bio that I'm going to put on every platform. Hi, my name is Charlie, and I think I'm more broken than I could ever possibly be. Because yeah, I do. And I don't know how to say this without sounding, I don't know. I don't ever expect people to like anything that I do. So that has freed me up in some ways to be like, yeah, here, take this one. Like, I just presume, like, well, everyone's gonna hate this. Here you go. And it's a weird armor that I've gotten, like, for the few times that I have gotten the flamed and stuff. Like, it was a weird form of protection because of like, oh, hey, I was right. This one person actually feels the way I thought everybody would about this. And it was oddly validating instead of like what they meant it to be, like soul destroying and tearing me down. It was like, I was right. See, somebody did think that. You told me no one would think that. There's one person right here. They truly hated it. They thought it's the worst thing ever. See, one person agrees. And I don't know if I should give thanks to my therapist or to a rabbi who really encouraged me to do this too. But this kind of jujitsu, where you take all of those negative feelings that you have and realize, in some ways, if you play with them just right, they're kind of your superpower.
Mm.
Like, because I am a pessimist at heart. So many people think that I am an optimist. And it's because I expect things to be so bad. I am always so pleasantly surprised at the world. Like, I live in this state of wonder, not because I am always in, like, I'm excited about everything. It's because, wow, something good actually happened. Like, it's the pessimist in me that is eternally surprised by the goodness and the wonderful things that happen. And I don't know, I feel like that's an odd superpower that if I wish I could give you tips on how to cultivate it, but it's just how I've gotten over time. But it's been very helpful. Sorry, I can hear something going on in the room next door, and I can't quite figure out. I think he's playing with the rope toy with the dog. But
Yeah, I was just listening to Anna blowing bubbles in the bath in the water.
Aw.
I just heard something
then
out of the corner of my
And then Joe told her it's done, and she's going, clean up, clean up.
So I am low on beverages. If everybody is interested, we can go ahead and take our first break, and I can figure out what these noises are that I'm hearing. 'Cause I think I actually know what it is. I think the cats are at the door to the back to the office, shaking the grate, trying to get in.
How dare you
Weird.
kick me out, Papa?
We call it the cat free room for a reason. It is the cat free room, and my dog loves it because it's the one room she can be in where there are no cats. Ever. No cat has ever been in this room. No cat will ever be in this room. And she knows this. And she's very happy. It's the room in the house that has the chaise lounge in it.
Mm.
And she thinks that this is her personal chair. Itty bitty dog, giant chair. She's in heaven. She's in absolute bliss every time she goes back there. So we are going to take a brief 10-minute break to refill our waters, get up and move around, just unpeople for a little bit if that is the thing what people need. If you need to just get away for a second, that is fine. We will be right back. Yeah. I have a lot of people who have like compared me to like to Buddy the Elf over the years, because like you're always like so like wow, amazing, wow, and it's like, no, you don't understand how dark my inner monologue is. Like good things just endlessly amaze me, and in some ways it makes life more magical. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a break because the chaos has entered the room. I will see you all in 10 minutes. And we're back. This wonderful timer made by the wonderful Laura Nettles, who just showed up in chat. Hi,
The
Laura.
internet tried to take me away. The gremlins
I
are
know.
coming
Oh
after.
I
no!
thought,
Naughty internet.
I thought we had fallen into some kind of weird, like, full Metal Alchemist equivalent exchange world where we gained a Brian and lost a Carrie.
Ooh.
Oh.
I am a gremlin.
You are.
Do you mean goblin? Because yeah. Tom's a goblin, so it stands to reason you both are goblins. Tom is always bringing home rocks, sticks, other interesting things, because every witch needs a goblin to supply them with the things of their craft. I'm just like,
I am my own goblin.
you really are. You're like a goblin-y witch or a witchy goblin. I don't know. Something in that.
Okay, this has nothing to do with what we're talking
Nothing
about.
to do
But
with
would you guys
nothing.
like to see what I showed Glory after the show yesterday?
Oh, do it.
It is both the best and worst thing I think I've ever bought from my job.
Make it happen. Yes, I then had to go online and like show her this company has not one but two different dachshund versions with unicorns.
Okay,
Horns.
so this is the outside, right? It's an
And
egg.
maybe they have a hippo one too. I thought of you.
Oh, it's so cute.
It gets better.
So cute.
Aw.
Look, it's got a little milk
It's so
unicorn.
cute.
I got no
It's
belly.
tiny. It's adorable. It has fairy wings. Hold on, there's more to it. There's stickers.
Of course.
And then there's this little packet of slime.
Because why
And
not?
then there's another egg in the egg. And when you open it, there's another cat unicorn.
Look at
Aw.
it.
As she opens it and the cat's meow. That was just
So somebody had to announce and assert their. No, I'm the cute cat here. No,
No, I'm a
No.
pretty kitty. You're just, homemade.
it's about me, not.
I
not
would like to state that I got this for under $5 and they're like $20 in the regular store.
oh, wow.
Nice.
nice. And hello,
Based off of
Stephanie.
Amazon.
Figure foods sound magical and amazing, and yo ho ho. And tomorrow will probably be a bottle of rum or two because
Amen.
I know the people that are going to be here for New Year's Eve, and we're all rum drinkers. So I have a feeling that's going to be the thing. And what have you done?
I have Dr.
What am I going to say?
Pepper.
What have you done?
And we close early tomorrow.
Mm.
I could have Tennessee honey and Dr. Pepper.
Mm.
Have a couple drinks.
See, it sounds
Play
like you
Sims.
have a much better Hobby Lobby than we do. Our Hobby Lobby is nothing but, the holiday junk aisle that every superstore has, like your Walmarts and stuff. That's just not even like the decoration stuff. It's the, I don't know, weird holiday tchotchkes. Like, would you like a weird random mug that's got something put in it? Like, we're not entirely sure what it is. We're going to make claims that it probably won't back up when you actually open it. Weird holiday. That's like all that our Hobby Lobby is. Like they
You
have
have a
very-
terrible Hobby Lobby.
Oh, we have like
Mind you, Hobby Lobby's kind of terrible in general, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
I was
Amen.
so frustrated because I was just excited to have a craft store in town because I like the crafts. And then when we went there, and it was around Halloween time when it opened, and it was like weird things that your great grandmother might give you as a gift to maybe put out for a decoration. Not even like actual decorations. Like it was like if somebody played telephone with what is a Halloween decorations, like 5 or 6 or 12 people down the road where you're like, I think that's supposed to be a skull, maybe, or a weird doll head, but the eyes are weirdly sunken in. I'm not sure what this is, but somebody tried.
So if I do in fact visit you, can we go to your Hobby Lobby so I can judge it?
Want to come to my Hobby Lobby too, Kat? You can
Yeah, sure. I'll just judge them both.
Why not? Why not? We'll just we'll have the good times, you know.
Like, there's part of me hoping that it got better because I have not been back since. Like,
Also,
it was
Brad, I'll
so.
take you to the Michaels and the Joannes as well in my town, and you can
Ooh,
do like a
I'm
full.
gonna have to take an empty bag.
Yes, ma'am. I
Yeah.
Have you never traveled
At the
before?
very least, we will garage sale as well.
I have only ever traveled with my father.
Okay, let me explain something to you. You always bring an empty bag when you travel because you're going to inevitably come home with more than you left with.
Like, okay, so ideally you would bring 2 bags, one which can nest in the other.
Yeah.
So that if you get enough things, you then have 2 bags. But if not, you could still fit all of it in one. So it's something to think about. One day we'll go to Unclaimed Baggage in Alabama, and we will get you some high quality, low price luggage. Because that is where I get all my best luggage for like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I've been
And
considering.
also we will go see
getting
Hoggle
from,
because
like,
Hoggle is there too from the
I've
labyrinth.
been considering getting some luggage sets for my work because I get 50% off, and it's already basically 50% off of what it is in a regular store. Because we had like a $400 luggage set that was multiple bags and stuff. We were selling it for like $150.
We have amazing
Nice.
luggage because my in-laws are like world travelers. Like, it's their hobby. It's what they do. They travel. Like, if they're home, something's wrong,
Wanna
somebody's sick.
hook me up?
And I feel like his mother was personally offended by the quality of our luggage and then got us like a full set of
Nice.
really nice luggage because why didn't we have it already? And it's like, thank you.
I tried to explain, Mom, a grocery bag is perfectly fine luggage.
Oh God.
He did try to explain this.
I use a backpack
Both of us
and
rolled our eyes.
Goodwill duffel bag.
I kind of knew it was going
And
to
it
happen.
wasn't even in the best shape when I got it from Goodwill.
I just got a Vera Bradley weekender bag from my sister that she was getting rid of, and I feel so fancy.
So I had a friend a fellow photojournalist who also ran the pageants and who hooked me up with her prize wholesaler. And they had direct from Asia, like among these things, like matching fantastically, like, pretty colored nesting suitcases and other prizes that you pageant winners get, those kind of things, as well as tiaras, which is how I have a fine collection of tiaras and tiara'd every one of my sales people back when I had a home party business, because I believe everybody should have a tiara. I do not care your gender or non-gender. Everybody needs a minimum of 1, if not multiple tiaras, depending on how you feel. And also, all of these tiaras were guaranteed to stay firmly and comfortably on your head while you vacuum, because I contacted the manufacturer in Hong Kong and they assured me that their tiaras were like durable and should last for generations as inheritable gifts.
So I'm
here to tell you they absolutely did. When I ordered, I was like, heck yeah. And yes, there are pictures of me vacuuming in my tiara. It is enormous and obnoxious and fantastic.
I do not have a tiara, but I almost had a crown because I had a friend who was going to make me a really nice, like, they're a really good cosplayer. I was going to make me a really nice Maleficent horns. And then the panini happened and she noped all the way to, I believe, Washington State's where she ended up. I think, I don't know. She moved around a lot after that, so I don't know where she is now. But it never happened, and I am quite sad.
Oh, I'm so sorry, because I really genuinely believe after getting my own tiara and then tiaring one at a time, like, I found reasons for all of my salespeople to get it. That if you could have seen the change in people. Of like, they're like, I have a tiara, and they just walk different for the rest of their life. And I'm just like, yeah, this is transforming. I get it now. And but yeah, I do believe everybody should have. I got luggage big enough that my mother could actually get in there. My 4'6" mother. And she was like, what are you gonna do with that enormous piece of luggage? I'm like, take you with me, hop in. And then she did. And there's a picture somewhere of her like curled up in my biggest luggage piece. She's just laughing the whole time. It's hilarious.
I know there's like a whole sentence here, but my brain keeps skipping to the end. Apricot brandy, and so
Like,
bad.
this sounds
Ooh.
delicious.
Like I
I don't
want
think I've
so
ever
bad.
had brandy.
Brandy is a troubling and terrible thing because we do not have the strict laws in the United States governing what can be called brandy that we
Yeah.
need to have. Brandy is one of the great joys of life. It's kind of like schnapps. Real schnapps are one of the great joys of life, but you are allowed to sell colored water, sugar water with alcohol in it in the United States and call it brandy and call it schnapps. Like brandy and schnapps are two things that we do not have strict enough rules for.
Amen.
And thus most people are like, why would anybody drink these things?
But also, it's a question of would it give me that weird buzzing that, like whiskey and bourbon are so far the only things that don't give me the weird buzzing in my head immediately.
But brandy
Like,
is
I think I might be allergic to them.
But isn't brandy like a distilled wine?
brandy is a distilled
Oh,
wine.
then I can't have it.
Well, you never know.
Like most of the bottles do say it contains sulfites. But that is because most of them are made in America. I don't know about European brandy because in Mississippi you can't import it. So I have no idea. If I ever find brandy like at the wine liquidation location, Kat, that doesn't have sulfites in it, I'll be sure to get it. We'll get it to you somehow.
I wondered what you were over there typing. I did not realize you were writing a novel for the chat.
I was finishing the story for the chat.
I was wondering where that text came from. I was
So-
like, I know that wasn't Charlie.
Megan, it could have been me, it could have been you, could have been Carrie, could have
I know, that's why
Not
I was
me, I
wondering
don't
where
know.
it came from.
I don't
Look,
have
wait, not Glory.
Not me. I am innocent. I am
Yeah.
just a mere guest here.
That was definitely me. Well, the luggage setup started with this 50-year-old, like ugly green suitcase that I was given as like my first luggage. And I was expected to have upgraded that by then. So I made sure to pack everything in there. And then I added Walmart bags because I figured seeing that would just be so atrocious. She wouldn't be able to abide. And sure enough, we got new luggage out of it. I figured if that didn't work, the next year I was going to get sticks and tie the handkerchiefs like a carpetbagger. Carry that into
Oh,
that.
God.
Because I thought if that was that
How
subtle
to
enough.
manipulate and goad your own mother.
He's not joking. He had
I was
plans.
joking. I had plans. The only thing that was like the bathroom bag was decent. I actually, I went and got a tackle, decent, I should say. I went and, so they have these, like, you get the, I don't know if it was Samsonite. I'd have to check, but I mean, it's surviving. It's rugged, whatever it is. This thing is, it was grandpa's luggage. Let's put it that way. That was handed down and then handed down. I got a tackle bag, which is like perfect for a bathroom bag, by the way. You can take the boxes out for the tackle because you don't need
Tackle
that.
boxes work really well for.
Tackle boxes are great for makeup as well.
Yeah.
Because you definitely
Yeah.
don't want your makeup or other toiletries, the box to pop open in transit. And tackle boxes, you definitely don't want those to pop open because all the sharpness and all
Yeah.
the little pieces. So yeah. Like
Yeah.
really, while I do love what is it, kitten caboodles or what caboodles, the caboodle boxes.
Yeah.
Tackle boxes, on the other hand,
Oh, yeah.
they have the stuff as well. It's just they don't come in pink. Darn it!
So
they
the canvas bag was red and black.
Oh, that my
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
The colors were perfect. It was like a canvas, and because it's tackle, once again, it has all the pockets and everything in there. And yeah, that was the only thing that I actually
Yeah, I
sprung
still
for. But
have
once again, it also
from
kind of
when I was
added to the
12.
motif of crazy. Because all she saw was a tackle bag, an old luggage case that was supposed to be upgraded, and plastic bags. And she could not abide. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got little from when I was like 12.
Yep. I
So
got
keep
one
your
when
nail
I was
polish.
12. That's what I wanted for my birthday. I still have it. It has survived. It's gone to the Philippines and back. It's traveled the planet with me.
I have one of those old-fashioned travel carry, like it has like a little mirror in it, and it's for toiletries and stuff like that. And it's from my grandmother. It was hers, and it is like a beast. but it's like, you know, that baby blue that was really popular in like the 1950s or whatever, which is what I think it's from. It's like heavy duty though. It's great.
Sorry, I've got a cat playing Queen of Pride Rock right now, so there may be more meowing. She's up on the very top of their cat stand, and she was literally had her chest puffed out, and like I was waiting for her to roar like a lion.
So part of my reasoning for wanting to travel to Mississippi and to Missouri is the animals. It's like I would like to just sit on your floor and be attacked by cats.
Yeah, we have the beasts.
Like this is a goal. I'm like I'd like to just plop down on your floor and be like, hello. Oh, and to walk into the restaurant and be like, is my internet parent here? I would like to be fed.
They're probably going to look at JP first, though.
Like, not that one.
Okay, no, he's got. Yeah, well, one, he would freak out because he'd be like, you'd see him start doing math in his head. Like he'd be looking at you, trying to guess your age and doing math in his head, and it would. And the other great thing about him is he's the master of the Charlie Brown face. Like, if you've never seen somebody actually do the squiggle mouth Charlie Brown expression in real life, like this is his like, wait, what? Like it like I don't know how his mouth bends in all of the places it needs to bend to do that squiggle mouth Charlie Brown, but he does it, and you will see someone. Oh yes, I need this. I need this in my life. You have no idea. So I feel like one of the things on Kat's plans for next year, goals and ambitions, is travel, to be able to go out. I am also really wanting to find a way to escape again. I miss conventions, and I'm hoping I will feel safe to try them out next year. Travel would be a wonderful thing to do. So the next thing I wanted to bring up, because I'm always fascinated by people's traditions around the various holidays, especially around New Year's, is what things do you do that you think are absolutely 100% normal that surely everyone does it for the New Year's? Or if you know that you do something different or just very traditional, what kind of things do you do to actually celebrate the New Year's? My first and most important rule of New Year's that I have learned over the years is that I am in fact the apocalypse groundhog, and I cannot see the starlight on New Year's Eve, or bad things will happen right then, right there, and going forward. I cannot leave the house on New Year's Eve. I am the apocalypse groundhog. I must stay home.
See, for me, it's kind of the opposite. Like, if I don't see the stars at some point on New Year's Eve, like, the year has just gone wrong already. Like, you have to look at the stars for a little bit.
Look, I'm not conceited enough to think that the world does revolve around me or not, but the last time I tempted fate with this, I did not go out to the house to any of the parties because I know nothing good happens. But I went out to the deck to celebrate New Year's 2020. And I'm not saying that I caused an apocalypse, but again, nothing good happens if I see stars. Nothing good happens. I have a string of so many years of, wow, what? I just don't. I don't leave the house. I do not go anywhere. The great thing is I do have friends that realize this about me and will come over and hang out and then make sure all of the curtains are pulled, because it's not just a superstition that I have. most of the people in my life have realized nothing good happens if Charlie sees Starlight. And they will come over to the house, we'll throw a little party, they'll make sure all of the windows are covered. No Starlight gets in, the apocalypse groundhog sees no shadows. All will be well. And I feel like that's my personal favorite tradition, is everybody just like, you are not going outside. No. Like, even if I'm not even trying to go out, just all the people trying to stop me. Hello, Jules. How are you doing today? Hopefully your family thing earlier was good. I saw the notice. I didn't even click on the live. I just saw that it had been canceled.
Lovable chaos.
But chaos nonetheless.
Wait, we just
The
we're
anti-groundhog.
debating over Tom.
Which one?
Which Tom quote?
So Tom was talking about how Gloria introduced him to cabbage, black-eyed peas, and ham hock, which is similar to one of the other ones that starts with me forgetting to get the hog jaw and black-eyed
The
peas,
hog jaw, yeah.
and then panicking and trying to find in an entire town that does the same tradition where they will get giant piles of them, and then within a couple days they're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Entire stores sold out. So yeah, tomorrow morning I'm gonna have to go do another panicked run. I guess I need to leave a little earlier. Because yes, yet again, I
My
forgot to get
sweet
them.
agent of chaos. Have you considered buying extra and freezing it for like the
So-
next year as emergency
Okay.
hand hocks or jowls or whatever?
It might not count. It might be cheating. I don't know. It's a southern thing.
It's not something. Okay, look, he had never heard of this tradition when we first got
Not
together.
when you bought it. Like, I don't think the buy part is part of it.
He had never heard of this tradition when we first got together, and he thought that I was just ridiculous. Like, what is this weird superstition that you were bringing in? So I was like, okay, for the first time, I will defy my great grandmother, and we will not do this. And let's just say we left for the weekend. We came back. There were giant holes in our wall.
Oh no.
I don't know what the roommates did, but it was.
I have no idea what happened while we were gone. There were giant holes in the wall. My identity had gotten stolen.
Yeah, that was a tough year.
Like,
We lived 3
Sounds
different places
horrific.
in 1 year. Yeah, I learned really quick. Like, that year was really bad, and so after that, it was like, okay, yeah, I have to do this. Luckily, every year I've successfly gotten
well, there's
it.
2 other years that we weren't able to get
Oh,
things,
yeah.
and they were also like equally like the
So
one
Brian,
year
you
we
need to
weren't
go
able to get
panic
it, we
buying
got
some stuff
Parvo.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 1 year I did get parvo because and I didn't, and I think this wasn't the second one COVID. Was it 2020?
The look
Because I
on
think
Corey's face.
2021 was finally.
Brian,
You need to go panic
how
shopping.
hard is it for you to learn to set up a yearly reminder on your phone or your calendar app or something of like the week before? Buy the jowls, sir.
Like a reminder, like the day after Christmas.
Right?
Yeah, you'd think.
But yeah,
Oh.
it's like I'm not into like I try not to be a superstitious person, but there are a few things that like have
Parvo.
yeah.
Yeah,
My
I
dude.
know.
What the
Yeah.
heck?
I'm a 5-year-old.
Oh Lord.
Oh yeah.
Oh Lord.
It's yeah, it's there, I'm not saying that like if it's the magic of the pig or the I don't know what it is. It's just there's a weird correlation here that we're not wanting to tempt fate on.
No, understand. Absolutely understand. Parvo, my dude. Go ahead.
Yeah, parvo was. And I actually ended up with what's that? Because you can get like a minor arthritis for about 6 months afterwards, and I
Yeah.
actually had that too.
Oh no.
It's like,
My
luckily, it went away after 6 months, but yeah, there was a 6-month period where I was just like
Yeah.
the arthritic, and I was just like, wow, this is not fun. I don't like this.
Yeah, it's
But that was because I didn't stop and rest. I waited till my ankles swelled up thicker than my thighs.
Oh, Brian.
Brian.
Yeah, I was working.
Brian.
I was busy working. I
Brian.
got sent home.
Yeah,
Eventually.
good. But somebody had sense because it wasn't you.
No.
No.
No, I didn't realize how bad the ankle was until I put it up and like the previous. This is
And
when I
you're
was
like,
working for
wow,
previous owners.
it's like, falling over my shoe.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it
yeah.
was so bad. He rounded the corner and looked down and then jumped back.
Like, what do you have? Goodbye. Go away.
Like cussed it a little bit and jumped back like it was some kind of monster on the desk.
I mean, in fairness, I didn't want you to. I tried to get you to stay in my parents' RV because you were like a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good times.
Yeah.
Like I realized, like my life. Somebody like when I was born, all of the knobs were twisted up to 11, and I realized this because my life has been very abnormal. Like I believe, I don't know if I have on this channel or not, but I've told the epic story of like how I came into the universe and how I was born. That I fact checked. I hunted down doctors, nurses, and other people to like. They're making this up to make me feel bad, right? No. My father died when I was born. He got better, but he was dead for at least 6 minutes. Like I get it. My life was turned up to 11. Like all of the knobs were just turned up to 11. But yeah. Does anybody have any non-world ending traditions that they like to participate in?
No.
Going to my mom's and nibbling until we're sick. Like,
I have to have sparkling apple cider. Like
Yes.
Martinelli specifically, it has to be.
there's this one brand of wine that we have to get. It's from a Amish winery that's a little bit south of here. And we have to get the Frostfire wine, and it's a sweet wine, and it's so stinking good.
I just want it for the name.
The New Year's Eve 2020 to 2021 was the first time we didn't go to my mom's. And after we put Anna to bed, Joe and I were watching the New Year's Eve shows, and he was asleep by 10, and I had polished off half a bottle myself.
I should run to the dollar store and get a bottle of sparkling grape juice. Red.
Yes,
Definitely.
I agree.
So for me, one of the things I've noticed over like the last 30 something years is how my New Year's Eve and my New Year's Day go really does foretell the whole year. And so what I try to do, sometimes unsuccessfully, is to have as lovely a possible 2 days as humanly possible.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and that whatever, it doesn't have to be the same thing every year, although we do try to have, the cabbage and all that goodness on New Year's Day for one meal. But like, we try to eat something like lovely and delicious that we love that's, maybe more expensive on New Year's Eve. And I try to be with people I care about on New Year's Eve, like to spend time with people I actually want to spend time with rather than being around people I don't like or strangers or whatever, and feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Cinnamon rolls on New Year's Eve, on New Year's Day morning.
But I will say, I know that if I am not awake at midnight, it's not going to be a good year. So I try my best to even as much as try to take a nap in the afternoon on New Year's Eve so I could be awake at midnight. But 1 a.m. I go to sleep. It's fine. It's just if I am asleep at midnight, it is not a good foretelling of the future. It's going to be a bad year. So it's just that it's more of how I try to plan out and execute those 2 days than any specific things other than, well, yes, I try to have several delicious, fantastic meals. So Tom got king crab legs. Guess what we're having New Year's Eve? I love these things so much.
So I just realized I could never partake in the ham and cabbage. I'm allergic to cabbage. And I actually like it, is the problem.
What it is it's specifically supposed to look like folding bills and coins. So like I can't do beans anymore and legumes at all right now anyway. So instead of the black eyed peas, I'm going to substitute corn because it's still golden color. And like cabbage, what I have done in the past when the entire dang town was out of cabbage was I have bought lettuce, heads of lettuce, and we chopped up lettuce and had a big old salad because it's supposed to look like folding bills, like money. And here in America, the money's green.
See, I can't do that either.
So you don't eat romaine or any like.
No, it hurts.
Ah.
We're not starting the new year with pain.
So no frozen chopped spinach or anything like that. Like all the green leafies are out of the picture for you.
Well, raw. Yeah, I can.
No, I mean you can have it cooked. Like we're gonna cook the cabbage. You could cook spinach.
I have spinach.
I do feel like Stephanie has changed our menu for tomorrow night in a way that she does not understand by posting this. And because I can hear him over there going,
I mean,
like I love.
We kind of did do something along those lines too before the panini times when we had friends over at my mom's house. It was like finger foods, like pizza and dips, and it's usually cold in Cleveland, so my dad would make a big old vat of French onion soup, and
somebody made some of that for the restaurant the other day and brought none home.
25 pounds.
Oh man, that is.
You didn't bring any home.
I'm not bitter at all.
I'm bitter for you.
I'm bitter for you.
And I couldn't even eat it.
The audacity of some people.
He will come home and be like, "I made lobster bisque today," and I'm like,
"And where's mine?"
Like, "Oh, I didn't bring any home."
And I could not be bothered to set aside some in the fridge for you because.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so I just had a thought of I'm like, because you guys would know when I'd be showing up. So I just imagine Brian at the restaurant being like, "Okay, no onion on the counter, no." Just like it's gonna be this and this and this. Do not kill this child.
Oh my goodness! Like.
Yeah, Kat, it would have killed you because I started in the back room where the onion smell just filled the entire thing because it's 25 pounds of onions. I broke down and
it makes me so sad because I love onion.
And he cheats and bakes them to caramelize them, so they're just perfectly caramelized all the way through. So good. So good.
And I found only 5 of the bay leaves.
So Kat can never have my family's homemade pierogies because we use for every 2 pounds of potatoes, there's a pound of onions.
Can I just say,
a lot of onions.
I need all of like everyone's family foods. Like I was gonna say these pierogies, but like the more I hear about all of these things, like I want all of it. Like we need to get together and have.
Don't worry, Kat. I will make you the noodle kugel. You can have that.
Yeah.
There's so much dairy.
So much dairy.
Another family tradition that my family had was we'd go to the Rose Parade happens in Pasadena every year, and so we'd go and check out the floats before the Rose Parade would start, and we'd see everyone sleeping on the side of the road waiting for the parade the next day because people it's a very intense ordeal. I love it. I want to do the whole sleeping there one night thing. It would be so great.
One of the things on my bucket list is going down to Key West and watching them lower the drag queen in the giant red high heel from the clock tower.
Oh yeah.
And never underestimate the passion of a parade attendee. As somebody who used to live just outside of Washington, D.C., and who was tricked on several occasions by people that you could not talk out of it otherwise, to go down there for some of the big occasions. Oh, like...
It's fun. Everybody gets really into it. But
those people that camp out for their spots, I mean, there is no stan of a musical artist. There is no hardcore gamer. There is no movie fan or franchise fan that can stand up to the withering, like, just stares and violence if they think that you might move them out of their chosen place. Like, there is no more fanatical person on earth than parade people. Like the ones that are there like 3 days ahead of time because this
When
is the
our
spot we
basketball
always sit
team
in.
won the championship in 2016 and my mom and my sister went to the victory parade, there was like 1.5 million people in downtown Cleveland, and
Wow.
they were pushing and shoving, and my
I
mom
think-
also went down there while she had poison ivy, so she's
Oh,
like, if the
no.
mean ones catch it, I don't care. They shouldn't have shoved me. Like, why did you
God. Logan?
why did you go down there with poison ivy? She goes, it
I
was
mean,
a
that's-
once in a lifetime thing. They might never win another championship in my lifetime. This is Cleveland.
I mean, I have to say, it is kind of wonderful being your own booby trap. Like, if you push me, shove me, or are rude to me, you get what you deserve. Like, just embodying, like, just being an embodiment of a booby trap is just, I mean, there's something admirable about that. The largest gathering I think I've ever been to is my friend Beth and a couple of others. We went, she really wanted to go. And so we went down to Bill Clinton's first inauguration in DC.
Wow.
And that was ridiculously insane because not only was it a presidential inauguration, but they had announced all of the public performances, and there were concerts from like Aretha Franklin. So people that did not care at all about Bill Clinton were there for Aretha. Like, like it was all kinds of people that were there. It wasn't just like because they set up a huge bandstand for all of these musicians to perform. There's so many people. So many people. I can barely wrap my head around all of it. And somehow she found a way to finagle us onto the line when he went through and was shaking hands.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I actually got to look into that man's eyes, and
I have to do this. Dun dun dun.
That's why I went like this.
It's
Like with my acknowledgement.
musical attachment would, yeah.
you're giggling so much. I thought you were going to keep going.
No, I went ahead and muted myself, so I would stop.
Self-control. This is an amazing thing. You've all witnessed a miracle. I did not know that we were going to be doing miracles on this channel, but you have all witnessed one.
It's amazing.
Brian has exercised the self-control.
Hey, I might be, depending on what I'm doing on Friday evening next week, I might be joining you from my mother's house. There might be guinea pigs.
Ooh.
They're in the basement. My mom took them out of the living room because they were annoying her. Because they were in the dining room, so they took the girls and their brother downstairs. They just go down there to feed them. I'm like, aw, you don't like them attacking?
Mm-hmm.
That's their security system.
So I don't know where this comes from, but one of the things that will probably not be happening this year, at least not in the immediate family, because it was something my grandmother always did, was she would get us together early on New Year's Day, and we would all share stories about our loved ones that aren't with us anymore. She was really big about this, that we need to bring them all into the new year with us. And so she would tell stories about her mom and cousins and her crazy uncles that I wish I could have gotten to meet, because the stories that I've heard, like, there are Looney Tunes cartoons that make more sense than some of the stories, but I know that side of my family and know that they're probably all true stories because we tend to operate on Looney Tunes rules. But she was really the instigator of that, and we haven't really done it since she passed. But I don't know, that might be something that you and I do, because it was because the best part of it was no one was allowed to gripe, no one was allowed to complain, because she had a stare that could melt a mountain. I think you saw Grandma get angry once.
It was terrifying.
No one griped. Nobody complained. We weren't allowed to bring up any bad memories at all. We're just bringing the good stuff with us.
I love that.
And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing that I hadn't really I felt all last year. I remember thinking on New Year's Day that we were forgetting to do something. And granted, it took me a year to remember what it was that we forgot to do. And it's because it was something that she just did. Like all my life. I remember even when we didn't live near her, she would call us on New Year's Day and just do the Happy New Year's and this, that, and the other. And did I ever tell you about the time Uncle Denny? Because almost all of her really crazy stories that would make you feel like you were going to die.
Everybody I have ever heard of named Denny crazy, like Looney Tunes logic.
I'm going to go with Danny's as well. Denny's and Danny's. It's like Jerry's and Gary's. They're the same.
Because I only got to meet Uncle Denny once.
Because it's based from the name of Dionysus. It's fine. I understand now.
Yeah.
I only got to meet Uncle Denny once, and I was a little kid, and my only memory of him is he and my dad and I went over to visit, and I probably was about 6 or 7, and he wanted to have a talk with Dad, so he just handed me an axe and said, "There are trees outside, have fun." And I love my father, but he expected everyone to be smarter than they were, so he just let me run off with an axe into the backyard, and I put a lot of chips in a lot of trees, but I never got any of them to come down. Didn't understand that you had to repeatedly hit a tree to get it to fall down, but
that's not video game logic, though.
No, I'm just saying that's my one and only memory of him is, oh, hey, child, here is axe. Go play.
You don't need a safety instruction or no. Just go. Have a good time.
It's my one and only memory of him.
A hand or a toe, that'll learn him.
Yeah. And what I say that because when I listen to her stories, and they're always so reckless. Like I have this baseline of, hey, little child, here is axe. Have fun. Like, okay, yeah. Uncle Denny probably did do that, didn't he? Just it's a good baseline that buoys a lot of her stories that she had of him. I heard you on mute a couple times. Do you have something to share?
Well, I had a comment on the instructions, but it was just a dumb one, like lawn darts. They go up, they come back down. I mean, you don't need instructions for those.
I literally know people who wear eye patches to this day because of lawn darts in the 80s.
Oh, how!
Luckily, no lost eyes. A couple punctured holes are healed.
Let me tell you about the kind of people who lost their eyes to lawn darts. They are the kind of people you would expect. Just like turkeys look up at the sky when it rains and drown. These are the human version.
My cousins used to play a game that they like to call Bombardier with the lawn darts, where they would see wherever I was and chuck them up in the air over me. Like when I say I'm surprised I'm alive, so many reasons. So many reasons. Like how my cousins did not successfully end me.
It's like the game of chicken where everyone piles around and you fire the arrow straight up in the air. And then you wait and see who gets hit.
Oh no, he wasn't nice about the arrow. When he got into bows and arrows, he just used me for target practice. He strapped a pillow to me and said, "That should work. Now run." My cousins are fun people. The good thing is, though, I get to retell these stories now in front of his children. And he gets this like realization of, especially, I remember one year we were over at his house for the holidays, and his son was about the age I was when he got into throwing stars. So I decided to tell his son about his father's love of throwing stars, and saw it dawning on his face. You were no bigger than my kid when I used to chuck throwing stars at you. Like the realization. It's the one time we ever had like a truly shared moment where he just like came over after that and was like, I was terrible to you, wasn't I?
My one uncle, who taught me how to swear when I was like Peanut's age.
I had one of those.
We were out when I was out with my mom last night having dinner, and I was telling her that Anna learned a phrase from Joe rhyming with cram it, and repeated it in front of him, and he's like, ooh. And so my mom brought up my uncle, and I'm like, yeah, but you've noticed that becoming a grandpa has kind of cured him of that.
Huh. Wonder why.
Especially now that they can talk.
See, now my dad is the dad that, like, when I was growing up, he gave me instruction because he expected everybody to be dumber than they were. He's like, I want to believe you're smart, but also I've met people.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's how my father was as well. Was
So he'd
like,
be like, okay, you got to do it like
"Whoa,
this.
you've got a chemical set. Let's go over safety, and you have to promise to not use this kit when I'm not at home for at least the first month." And how did my father ensure that? He put the kit in his trunk every day, so that when we got home after school early, we could not play with the chemical kit when he wasn't home. Yeah.
Okay, my dad did let me play with several kits that I was given as a
Eventually,
child
we were allowed to play with the kit when Dad and Mom
without instruction.
Like, so yes, of course, we tried to make gunpowder.
Of course.
Of course. I mean, there was instructions. It literally came with instructions on how to make gunpowder, just for the record.
I remember these.
Okay, like,
yeah.
And his only rule was, I know you're inevitably going to make gunpowder, and the one rule in this family is you have to do it outside, away from the tall grass. And so that is what we did.
See, my family.
Our little sister cut the tall grass with a pair of scissors for an hour in the sun.
My family used to have family reunions every year in the spring just to see who made it, and not because of like health or disease, but because recklessness is kind of a family trait. Plus, you know, time has two choices with our family usually. For the vast majority of us, it takes us way too young, or just like waits to see until we're just way too done. Because we either go in our 20s or earlier, or we go in our 90s or later.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that the older generations had just learned not to get attached to the youngins. Like, who knows if you're going to be here for the long haul? Like, there was very much a, like, I had one of my grandfathers never called me by my actual name until I was over 20 years old. Like, I just had random nicknames the entire time because I'm pretty sure he was just like, I don't know if this one's going to make it. I'm not going to bother to learn the name yet. I can't prove that that's the case, but, you know, feels like it a little bit on the inside. So, you know, After your own experience, see, Tom says, after my own experience, as well, watching several YouTube videos, I believe you take. Um, yeah, I can't talk right now.
Cake
I'm
batter.
a believer in the cake batter method. Everything else fails poorly.
Yeah. Whoop!
Oh,
Just lost a cat. Took me a second to remember. Like, okay, where was everybody? Everybody moved. Now I'm lost. There we
Wait,
go.
what?
We lost the cat.
Mhm.
Not just me. Okay.
She did it to herself.
I got the spinnies.
Laura.
I mean, Laura. Laura.
Yep. Don't worry, I got her back.
Oh
She got not one but 2 boxes.
no, you don't understand. Like, I remember getting yelled at one of my great aunt's houses because I dared to go under the tablecloth and look at the table legs. Like, when you say my family
That's
never
from
left the
Victoria's
Victorian age,
disabilities, you're right.
like you are so much more right than you know you are. And it's not like the whole family. Like, there are 2 distinct sides of my of my family. Like, but the one side, like, yeah, I remember getting in trouble with one of my great aunts for showing way too much skin because I was wearing a V-neck T-shirt, and I was showing way too much skin for a child. And I'm like, it's summer. They made me wear pants because of you.
Yeah. Hollywood makes gunpowder badly. That is what we learned. Do not follow what we saw in the movies. That's not how you make gunpowder.
What? So you don't take a bunch of random rocks, put them in a bamboo tube with some other random rocks, and then hit it just right with a flint and kill a gorn? Is that what you're telling me? Like, if science fiction taught me anything, you just put random rocks into tubes, and then you hit it with a flint and magic. That's not how that works.
No.
MacGyver lied.
Yes.
You can't do everything with just like a
It's
roll of
called
duct tape and a paper clip.
fiction.
Dang.
Fiction.
I mean, actually, you can do a lot with a roll of duct tape and a paperclip, but that's beside the point.
But not gunpowder. You can't make gunpowder from that.
I'm pretty sure that, like, I have been debating for years, but I don't want to do the research to find out that there was an episode of MacGyver where he made a nuclear reactor out of like paper, pie pans, duct tape, and like 2 other ingredients. The 80s were wild, y'all.
Amen.
She did.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah. May we all live in Terry Pratchett's world. Okay. It is time for us to take yet another break. And when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about what we kind of hope the next year will bring. Because
good things.
And we can't just all, I mean, if we want to, we can just do like the full mantra thing and just chant good things to the end of the stream.
Good things, 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 good things.
Oh my goodness. I think we're all just kind of done with everything else. As has
I'm
been
actually going to disappear.
Alrighty.
On purpose this time. I do have to open the store tomorrow.
Alrighty.
Good night,
Thank you
Good
for being
night.
here. And we are yet again going to use the beautiful timer that Laura made. Is
Yeah.
you unmuted for mischief? What is your mischief?
I just was agreeing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Alrighty. So yeah, we'll do announcements and stuff at the very end. Alrighty, let's go ahead and just take a little break, get something to drink, maybe get up and move around a little bit, or just people for just a moment. See you in 10. It's time to glow. Alrighty, how did everybody get along during that? I just realized I should probably have a standard disclaimer banner that I put up on all of the channels anytime I tell family stories, to be like, I share my family stories so everyone can feel better about their own. I have a little doggy staring at me. Do you want to come up? Is that what you're wanting? Are you wanting to come up here?
Oh.
Ta-da!
Hello. How are you? How are you? Yes. Yes, you said that. Oh, Bubba.
She looks
Yes,
funny
you
in
just-
the blur.
Yeah. She's very mad at all of us because the store was out of their regular food.
Oh.
And she's like, why you feed me this crap? Because that's all they had.
Yeah.
It's all they had, Bubba. I'm sorry.
All three of them.
I know. You just gonna come up and join me? No, you're just gonna sit there. Okay.
They're basically on a starvation protest.
Well, she's definitely not starving because when I cut the ham earlier, I may have oopsie doodled some of it onto the floor. I'm bad at everything. And it really makes me feel like a little bit self-conscious because anytime I go to cook or eat or anything, she knows how clumsy and klutzy I am and just becomes the shark circling around me, waiting for me to chum the waters. And she just sits there and she'll watch.
My mom's dog is with the with
She'll
everybody.
watch the fork move towards my mouth and back. And like she gets the thing that gets me though, every time is she gets a surprised look every time this fork successfully goes into my mouth. She's like, maybe the next one though.
My mom's dog, her favorite snack is Cheerios because we use it as a training treat. And my mom will just feed her Cheerios to keep her from barking while she's on the phone. And so when the kids come over and they're snacking on Cheerios and she's sitting there like, hey, and like every time a tiny hand puts Cheerios into their mouth and she just gives this how dare look. Like, those are mine.
I feel like Jules won the break.
Ooh.
I don't know what anybody else did, but I
want
didn't have
fudge.
fudge. So I know she at least beat me. Because fudge beats. I did have a little thing of mixed nuts to get my energy up, but that's not the same as fudge.
I want some fudge so bad.
Yeah.
How bad? I've already sent Tom links to several maple fudge options on Amazon. Like here? Yeah, I did that. That's how much it's like fudge. Hi, Tom. Tom is here because Tom has delivered milk
Nice.
and cabbage because we didn't have any for New Year's Day.
So speaking of New Year's Day, what are some of the things that you all are hoping we can actually maybe do in the next year? Maybe be in the next year. Because I know for myself, this is my year of unbridled selfishness because I'm going to do the one thing I've never done in my entire life. This is the year I'm putting my mental health before everything else.
Amen.
Good.
And it's going to be very uncomfortable. I don't like saying no to things. But this is my year of no. I know everybody's like, this is going to be my year of yes. Like, no, I've done all the yeses. I've done way too many yeses. This is my year of no. No. and I can't wait. I'm very excited about it. I feel like it will be very freeing, and I will actually be able to like enjoy my life a little bit and not be in a constant ball of anxiety.
I'm in kind of a similar frame as you, Charlie, about I have to be kind of mindful of how I set goals and desires because the perfection monster. And so I don't really do goals with a time attached to it, like by this, like a deadline. I don't do goals with a time deadline. Whenever they get accomplished, cool. But also like the my goals are often in my mind within a 5-year frame. So if they happen sooner, great. But if they don't happen in a year, that's cool. Maybe they're going to take 2 years or all 5 or 10. All right, a couple things. Took 10 in my 5-year goal. That's fine too. Because it happens when it happens. So that's the caveat I want to point out with like what I'm about to say. So I have in my like goals, for instance, is to get to 1,000 subscribers on my Substack newsletter. And then after that, it's 1,000 paid subscribers. And then after that is 1,000 full paid, not discounted subscribers. Because at that point, I can start truly saving up to get a house. Like at that point. And so, because that's really like my ultimate 5 or 10 year goal is that the place I'm living in again is a place I own. Because I need that kind of financial stability so that I can do the other things and not be stressed, because the anxiety of like rent every month is just a little too brain scrambling for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it uses up my precious energy that I could be actually devoting to being creative, to cooking, to researching, whatever, doing, things that's a lot of it actually benefits other people, like writing stories or doing cooking research. So I can also share those recipes with people. So like trying to conserve my energy for productive things rather than these sort of energy sinks, like, anxiety and stress stuff. So those are like, that's pretty much my current goals, as well as at some point, preferably in the next 5 years, to be able to either fix up my old car because it needs a new engine, which they said is going to be about $2,000 total, which is really cheap for a new engine and for it to be put in. Like, I'm not complaining, but it's still $2,000 I don't have. Or to get another working car in some other fashion so that I am mobile and also can go driving to shake up those kidney stones. Get them moving out of the way. But that's like how I do my goals. But like, that is not to say that I'm not going to celebrate every subscriber, every 50 subscribers. Like another thing in my research I've learned is that even though my YouTube channel is monetized, to really get sponsorships, I need at least 5,000 subscribers. So again, this is something like I've discussed with Tom that in 2023, we're going to also work more on promoting more in other areas, like other venues and platforms that we haven't really done too much of, in the hopes of eventually getting to 5,000 subscribers, because there are sometimes I see sponsorships for things with like, oh, I would like to be sponsored by that. I would very much like to, Not a lot of things. Like
every time I make a bullet journal video, I'm like, this is my notebook therapy book. Hashtag not sponsored, but willing to be.
Right? Please, yes. There are, can washi tape just sponsor me? But just like the thing, but that of having that as an option, and that would be wonderful. And in order to even qualify for that, So that's instead of, oh, I want sponsorship, it's more like, let's get to that. As well as we've recently learned how even where we are at viewership and in subscribers, we're like in the top tier already. Y'all, our channel's barely above 1,000. And it's apparently in the like top 10% or something is what Tom told me recently. And I'm just like,
Wow.
yeah, I think it's nothing. Like, I'm like, this is my little baby cottage channel. She'll like it. She adorable. And it's like, oh, wait, what?
I'm shocked. Like the Twitch Rewind says that we're in the top 2% of all Valheim streamers. And I just
right.
You said what now?
Yeah, I was shocked when it said that my Twitch channel is in the top 1% of just chatting. Like, what? Really? Did not see that coming.
Yeah. A lot of, and I think that's one of the things that I'm trying to do this year. Like, you just really made me think about it, is not judging myself for success. I don't know how else to word that. In that, like, I'm not like, you succeeded, bad. Like, it's not like that. It's more, oh no, that can't be right. I get very, like, judgmental is the only word I can think of to use there about, I'll look at, like, how's the podcast doing? I'll look at the stats on it. I'm like, those are obviously wrong. Like, that's not,
like,
no.
It's just a glitch, huh?
It's just a glitch. It's not right. Like, I judge everything as like, oh no, someone has messed up here. Like, what my first impression on seeing the Twitch replay and seeing that number, I was like, they did their math wrong. I don't know. Like, I don't know where they messed up in their spreadsheet, or they pulled the data wrong and they pulled it from a different, like, I know these aren't true. Like, I know how podcasting numbers work. Like, look, if you, and I'm going to say this to everybody out there, because I know that we have quite a few people that do watch these things that are doing podcasts and stuff. If you have more than 3 average downloads per episode of your podcast, you are in the top 40% of all podcasters. 60, like, most podcasts have between 0 and 1 listens. The vast majority of them, no one's listening to them at all. If you have people listening to you, you are doing so much better than so many of the other people that are down there that are also working at this. And I think for me, the problem is I see these huge accounts, and I've gotten okay with it with my writing. Like, I will probably never be a billionaire based on my writing, like some people that turned out to be horrible. But, so that sounds unrealistic to me. But, I also sit back and look at some of the other streamers that I really enjoy, and they've got, like, they're making a good run. They're making a fairly decent living off of their channels. And they've got like 125 people watching them. And I'm just like, I will never have this, that kind of judgmental thing. That's what I'm talking about, of just, and celebrating the victories that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And then not being that judgy person of, I don't know where any of this stuff will be in the future. Like, not to keep promoting the thing that I wrote over on Project Shadow, but I got just in this loop where I was thinking about something that's in the book, The Listening Society, where he talks about how we really need to understand everything that we do is a nonlinear action. There is little to no proportional relationship between the energy we put in and what we pull out, because so much is fairy dust, luck. Like, it's not that you should just put crap in and expect great things out. It's, you never know. You could do the crap work and have the huge success off of it. You could do all of the work and no one could see. There's no proportional relationship between the effort that we put in to the work that we're doing and the rewards that we reap back and the effects that that actually has out in the world. And so he goes to this whole reasoning of then, well, how do we accomplish anything then? If we know that it doesn't matter how much energy we put in, why bother? And he's like, because people who stay locked up in their homes and never try anything, never achieve anything. You should just have the innocence of a child and just assume maybe it'll work and just act accordingly. Just presume this is the thing that could work. This is the thing that will this is the lottery ticket that will win. This is the this is the one that's going to make it, and just treat everything like that. Put in the effort in that you're comfortable in doing, but just don't worry about what the back end result is as much, because there's so little connection between when things go viral. We can't control that viral moment. We can't control that breakout hit for a book, right? We can do all of the promotion. We can I know that there's a certain level I can get myself to just through sheer effort of marketing. Anything beyond that is fairy dust. Just something lucked out. It hit an algorithm just right. Something happened and carried it further. And just being okay with that.
I think it's important for us as humans to keep in mind that our brains are hardwired to attach meaning to meaningless things. Everything that happens, every event, enormous and tiny, is just neutral. You stepped in a puddle. It's not good or bad. It's just there was a puddle and then your foot was in it. Now, hopefully it is not. Now, you may feel bad about having a soggy shoe, and that is absolutely understandable, but it still does not have meaning like, oh, this is because I had a bad thought a moment before about some stranger who almost sideswiped me. And then I'm now being punished. Like, no, the puddle did not. There's magic in our world, but that's not the magic.
Yeah, that's...
but our brains are hardwired to do this. I know mine still does it. And I get these weird thoughts of, oh, it's because I've been, irresponsible, or it's this or that, whatever it is. I hear that, and then I just let that thought pass because I understand it is just a quirk of neurology. It's not real. There is not inherent meaning in this universe. We make meaning, and sometimes we're right, and sometimes we are so off that, like, we are so off, even our friends and family can't quite get through to us. No, you are talking out of your behind. No, this is not the meaning of that.
And it's important to realize. Okay. And that doesn't mean that you're stupid. Like, Ptolemy's math worked until it didn't. Right?
Right.
Like, he wasn't a dum-dum. He worked with the knowledge he had to hand, and his math worked till it didn't. The same thing's true for Newton. Newton's math worked until it didn't.
Right. That's true.
He wasn't an idiot or a dum-dum. Sometimes you don't have that bigger picture. Newton didn't know anything about relativity, which is why his math stops working at a certain point.
Sure.
Because he didn't have that piece of the puzzle to put in there.
And the technology was not there yet for him to utilize it to gain greater understanding. He had a very limited understanding. And while, yes, our understanding is still limited, it's not quite as limited as it was when in Newton's time. But like, my point is just simply, life does not have inherent meaning, even though our brains keep trying to put meaning where it is not. And that includes, like, on your efforts, your work, your creative output. It is not, nobody notices what I'm doing because it's inherently not worthy of notice or value. That is not accurate or true. And it is not, oh, this person who is wealthy or well-known and lauded, they're putting out good stuff that is worthy and valuable, and mine is not. That is not it either. Every time people laud a millionaire, billionaire, it's just like cringe city. They are not inherently more worthy or put out more valuable effort than us. They rolled a very different dice roll in birth than we did. That is all it is. And so if the general public is not noticing your creative output, that has nothing to do with the value of your creative output. It's honestly a random dice roll. And the only way, now I'm going to tell you this now, and this is actual research, and this is what, quite frankly, has been keeping me going for about a little over 15 years. I originally read this in an analysis in a psychology journal about the top 3 female chess players in world history, and they are all sisters. And what led them to be this, and and then of course all the misogyny that's a whole nother matter. But anyhow, when we look at people who are the most successful in their lives, like actually they've achieved things, not that they were given a huge leg up or a mountain leg up, but like what they actually achieved through their own efforts, what we find is it is not intelligence that is the indicator of future success. It is in fact actually not wealth or any other resource that is an indicator of future success. But there is one trait, just one, it blew my mind. The one trait that is actually the only accurate indicator of future success for humans, no matter your age, no matter what you're doing. Are you ready? Buckle up. Persistence, y'all.
Yep.
Oh, darn. I have to be persistent? Yes. It's the only actual indicator. So it is a personality trait worth cultivating, and it is a cultivatable in all humans. And that is what I do. Like, people have asked me privately, like, oh, how you have your, oh, Gloria, you're a YouTuber and you're like a Twitch streamer and you actually get paid. Yes, technically, but like pittance. But anyhow, yeah, like, I mean, yes.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's like technically, but like, don't get impressed. But no, I mean, like, not to like denigrate people of like, I understand it wasn't easy getting there, but like, how did I get there? Well, number one, a whole lot of friends and networking and like a lot of supportive people, but also just consistently promoting, figuring out those platforms and doing it again and again, even though I felt like I was just yelling into a void. And I mean, so many times I would say to Tom, I don't know why I keep doing this. And Tom's like, remember persistence? Like, oh yeah, that's the thing. Okay, keep doing it. And then miraculously, a year ago, we were monetized. Like after me long giving up hope and still doing it, after I gave up hope, I just was still going through the motions going, I don't know quite how to tell people we don't want to stream anymore, that we're not going to do it. And Tom's like, I don't know, it eventually come to us. And then we got monetized and it's like, well, we came this far, talking ourselves and each other into this. But I mean, there's a certain truth there, and it is about persistence. And I have been for like more than 15 years. This is not a quality that I inherently have. It is not a quality I was raised by my parents to have.
No.
But that is actually the quality the father of the 3 girls that he had. And he literally birthed, he did not birth, but his wife, he went out, he like found a woman who was also interested in essentially this tiny little program of nature versus nurture. And he wanted to experiment on children, but that's normally like wrong, but people are okay when you experiment on your own children. So that is what he did back in the Soviet Union was, hey, let's have a bunch of kids and try out these child rearing experiments. And she's like, I'm on board. And they had 3 girls. And that is actually how they all became chess masters. So, what he taught his children, his daughters, was no matter what, you persist. Even when it looks like you absolutely cannot win this game, you don't just walk away or concede. You keep trying till they have beaten you. And then you think about it, think about what you learned from that, and then you try again. And so he started teaching them at like 2 and 3 years old how to play. But it's the persistence he was teaching, not actually how to be great at chess, because he was good at chess, but he wasn't great at chess. But he figured they could figure that out if he could teach them the traits they needed to become chess masters. He just wanted to prove to himself that his ideas about raising human beings had some merit. That's it. He was just trying some experiment. It's right up there with Skinner putting babies in cages. Which, by the way, it was meant to keep them warm. It was not meant to cage babies. But anyway, that's a whole nother matter. My point just being, you're going to feel like, and you're going to tell yourself so many times, what I am doing, I don't know why I'm still doing it. This is worthless. This is pointless. It's a voice in your head. It is not an accurate voice. Because as long as you are still getting back on the wagon, anytime you fall off the wagon of persistence, then you're still doing persistence. So yeah, you can give up, take a break, take a week, take a month. Tell yourself you're taking a year and then keep like kind of half getting back on the wagon. That's okay. Because I've done that and then it surprisingly works. But just keep telling yourself, as soon as I feel like I need to, like, as soon as I see an opportunity, I feel up to it, I'm going to get back on this persistence wagon and keep plugging away, because it's the persistence that eventually you'll catch that lightning in a bottle. It's nothing else, because everything else is so random. So whatever your goals are, even if they are simply to feel happier and more in love with your life by the end of the year, persistence is the behavior you want to emulate for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Rather than, to be disciplined, motivate, whatever these nonsense words are, they're all nonsense. Persistence is the one non-nonsense one.
It's one of the reasons why I try to share some of the glimpses into like the weirdness that is my brain, because I get a lot of comments from people, and it really upsets me anytime I get a comment from somebody like, "You're so positive. How do you do this?" I'm like, no, I'm just endlessly surprised that the worst thing didn't happen. Like, I live in a world of just, wow, the sun actually rose. Because, I'm one of those kinds of, like, I'm very Eeyore. Like, you have no idea. Like, it's bad. Like, that's just my natural state of being. But, and I know this from my own experience too. Like, the few successes that I had, my first book, when it would never have seen the light of day, except for my dear beloved sister, who means well in all the things that she does, but she has this genetic defect where she can just say the meanest thing, thinking she's being the nicest person, like, just, it's a little helpful question, and just like stab you right in the chest. And she was visiting, and she just looked at me and said, "How long are you going to keep trying to do this writing thing before you give up and get a real job?"
Did you tell her when they bury me? Well, first somebody's got to buy a casket, and then somebody else has got to put me in it, and that's when I will give up. Like, when I'm literally, they're lowering me into the earth, and that is at the point when I've done my last farting. I will. And they've had to sew my little butt up. That is when.
And this was years ago. This was before Liquid Sky came out. Like, this was years and years ago. And my reaction was to finish editing that book, getting it out there, and that led to the madcap adventure of publication history that I that I had, and the various things that I've done since. But with the exception of the one that I try not to compliment too much, because the ego, man, the ego. Like, I have not had the best support system in life, with one exception that I'm trying to be very vague about, so hopefully he doesn't get that I'm talking about him.
Too late. He's not that inebriated.
I don't know. The dog's trying to distract.
He's gonna have to stick a crayon way far up his nose to not notice that.
There's a dog running interference for me right now, so he may have gotten distracted by cubes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But you don't. There are reasons why I'm always talking about finding a good support system and just carrying on. Like, that is 99% of life. I never forget talking to my Uncle John, who was, I don't even know how to describe Uncle John without just like describing something from a weird Disney cartoon. Like he was 97 at this point in the story. He had emphysema, but he refused to stop smoking, and he was really happy that he was on oxygen because he could exhale his smoke into the oxygen machine and it would recycle it so he'd get a second hit off of it. Saved him on chain smoking, he said. Like how he did not blow his apartment up, I do not know. Like he was a character of all characters. And I remember going to visit him with my mom, and mom was in the kitchen like doing what she does, like trying to figure out how he was still alive with the scant amounts of nutrition that, like, I'm not going to say he didn't have food in his house. His house was full of food, but it was all like cookies and candies, and like there was nothing
the diet
nutritious.
of every chain smoker I've ever known.
Yeah, there's nothing nutritious in this house.
Live on trash and cigarettes.
And he just looked over at me
because all cookies are trash. They're not.
Sure, he could tell that like I had no idea why I was there, and he just looked at me and said, "She wonders why I'm not dead yet." Yeah, not dead because it'd make them happy. You just wake up every morning and say, "Nope, I'm going. Get out," and you just do. And well, he's not a role model in a lot of ways for a lot of things because. Oh, he had so many problems. Luckily, young me heard this because with all the things that I was going through, yeah, you just get up and you say, nope, not today. And you just do. Like, that's how I got through my entire life is you just wake up. Oh, that's what's going on, huh? Nope, not today. And yes, sometimes you need to stop and take breaks and you need to do those things, but so much of everything is just showing up. Like, It sounds like such a cliche. That's why this is hard advice to give and to take.
I used to think it was just a thing old people said of like the most important thing is just showing up. Like, you know, like to other people's graduations, to people's birthdays. And I used to think that this was just like a BS proverb kind of thing. And then I started teaching and I saw all the parents who did not show up to the kids' things, and I saw their faces and then their behaviors for days, weeks afterwards, and how crushed they were. And I thought to myself, you know, these are little kids. Like, you know, I was teaching mostly 3rd through 6th grade when I used to teach. And I thought, you know, yeah, these are little kids. But one of the things I learned in child psychology is, according to my own professors, no one ever really grows up. There's hardly any true grown-ups in this world. Everybody's just a very big kid. Because I asked about adult psychology to one of my professors who also ran one of the last state mental hospitals in the state. And she was literally the director of the entire thing. And then she was like at night teaching this night class. And I asked her like, so like I'm taking child and adolescent psychology, but like I have thought about taking adult psychology because I was kind of curious how it's different. She's like, that's literally not a thing. And I'm like, ma'am, what? And she's like, there's no such thing as adult psychology because you probably only meet 3 actual adults in your entire life. Everybody is just an older kid or an older adolescent. So you are learning everything you need to know about dealing with, like, you know, 99.9% of all human beings you'll ever meet. You're good. And so thinking about what she had said, I realized if little kids, you know, 8, 9, 10, 12-year-olds are crushed when not a single family member shows up to these events and things they work so hard on, then probably adults do too, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. And that is at the point, that was like my aha moment when I endeavored that I will just show up to everything, even when I don't feel like it. And I have no idea what I'm going to say. And I don't know what I could possibly contribute to this person feeling valued or anything. Because let me tell you, I have phoned it in. Like my body was there, but I did not want to be there. But I still put on a pretty face and tried to be pleasant. But inside, I was just like, why the hell am I here? And when can I leave? And like, I just thought I was just going through the motions. Y'all, I would occasionally get feedback from these friends and family and other people years later of how much it meant to them, because literally I was the only person who showed up to their graduation. And it was like graduating from phlebotomy school, like a 1-year course to learn how to draw blood and stuff. And I was literally the only person they knew in the audience. And then we went out to eat, and then their family met them there. But their family did not actually show up to their graduation, just to the dinner afterwards. Yeah, 12 family members. They were all in town essentially, but they did not show up to the graduation. But guess who, like, literally texts me all the time? It's like every single holiday, what you doing? Even though she knows, like, probably not much. I don't do much for Easter. Like, she doesn't think about asking what I'm doing for Passover, you know, and so on. But it meant so much to her, that one thing I did, that forever afterwards, there is like a huge honking gold star by my name in her head.
Yeah.
And it's because, and I was like, y'all, I just sat there going, I literally do not know any of these about 1,000 people in this building, but I'm here. And I met her afterwards. And then we went to go, and her family bought me, dinner, which was awesome. I did not know I was going to get a free meal out of it, but like I didn't think much of it, but it meant so much to her. And I've had several other people tell me that. And so here again, back to persistence. You just show up. You're terribly awkward. I'm sure people could read it on your body that you are just the awkwardest person in the room, just sitting there in the corner holding your soda or whatever. Just, hi, I don't know why I'm here. When are you going to leave? It still matters if they know you're there. It's just important. You make sure you check in with them. Sure, you slip out and do what they call an Irish goodbye 20 minutes later, but look, they knew you were there. And then you said, it matters. It matters.
And this is like the great secret of life, because for years people would ask me, like, how do you know so many writers? How do you know so many musicians? How do you know all of these people? It's like, I was the one in the audience that was paying attention to them, and they came over to talk to me afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just being there for someone. I know so many musicians because if I go to a place that has music, I'm there for the music, because I love music. And trust me, the musicians know who's listening to them and who's not listening to them.
Yes.
And I got to meet most of the, like, small venue places I've been. I've met most of the musicians there. I got to meet some of the bigger musicians this way as well, because they would scan the room and everybody's just kind of talking to themselves on their phone, doing things. And I'm the one just sitting there, just with my eyes closed, just listening to every note. If I knew the words, mouthing along to it. And they knew, like, I was the one that was there for them. The first writer that I ever got to know, he had just sold a movie that was a comic that was coming out as a movie. And everybody was there at the signing with the hardbound reprint of that book. I came with all of his back catalog because I had been a fan forever. And I didn't know how many things I was going to be able to get signed, but like I brought everything to see what I could get through that table. And he stopped the entire line and was like, "You have Evil Ernie? You've read this?" Yeah, it's great. It's so funny. You got that it was a joke? Like, yeah. What, people don't know it's a joke? And like the owner of the store is just like, "We need to move along. We've got a line." He's just and he's just going through one by one, signing them, going to the next one. "What's this one about?" Like, quizzing me. Like, This is a trap. Like, I know this is a trap. You didn't actually read all these other things. Nobody cares about me. And like, no, I was there because I loved his artwork. I loved the stories that he told. I found them hilarious. And apparently everybody else thought he was like dark and brooding. He's just like, "I'm telling funny stories with zombies. What? Why is everybody scared? They're jokes. They're funny." And nobody got his humor, right? And this is how I knew all of these people, because I was just there for them. I didn't want anything from him. Like, at most I wanted a signature on a thing. Like, I didn't expect him to be like putting his cigarette out on the table and going, "I need to take a smoke break." and then walking me outside so he could continue talking, because they obviously had no problem with him signing while smoking, right? Like, did not expect that at all. But it was that thing that I had shown up for him, because that's what it is. So few people actually pay attention to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really pay attention. Listen to the words that we're saying. Listen to the meaning of the words that we're saying. And not just trying to figure out, well, how do I seem smart or hip or funny with the next retort? Like, how just being there is huge. Yeah. Yeah. That would be if anybody doesn't know the artist I'm talking about, that was James O'Barr. He was one of the first like celebrity writers, if you will, because he had a movie coming out that I'd ever met. And then after that, that's how I got to know Dorothy Fontana, because everybody else was there for the stories. And I was like, tell me about your life. How did you become a writer? How did you get involved in television? Tell me everything about you. How do I do this? Because I wanted to be a writer. And she was just like aghast that this child was like, cared about, how did you do this? I was like, it couldn't have been easy. Like, you got started in television in the 60s. That had to be hard. How did like, wait, what? But just showing up, like, it sounds so like fluffy. It sounds like the Wish or The Secret or one of those things. Like, just set your intention and you'll have it. Like, really, all I have to do is show up. So often, all you have to do is show up. Like, I'm close friends with one of my heroes as a child because I showed up at one of her concerts, embarrassed the crap out of myself there, got invited to go hang out with her that night, and we have been friends ever since. You never know who you can meet, how you can network, because people know if you're there for the networking.
Yeah,
I need to say that right up front. Like, if you're there, like, this is the person that's going to help me get my big break, they will ignore you. Like, you're setting off red alarms around you. Like, don't talk to me. But if you're actually there for people, because so few are. Like, that really is the secret to life. Like, I think that's one of the things that I know, at least for me, like, when I realized that some of the people here on screen were actually listening to the words coming out of my mouth, I was just like, what? Like, you actually responded to me and I'm crazy. What are you doing? Like, but that's how, like, most of the friendships here got started, is we just showed up literally randomly in people's chats. Like, I know Megan because I put out a blind call on Twitter saying, I'm going to start streaming. Would anybody like to join me? And she was there. No, she answered. I did not know who she was. I had never talked to her before. I was so nervous. I was like, I read, like, you have no idea how investigatory into your Twitter history I went. Like, it was like, is this a trap? Is this, like, who is this person? Somebody actually responded. But, like, this is how you meet. This is how you get ahead. This is how you make these connections. Like, it really is the secret to so much in life. Just be there. Because as somebody who, through depression and other issues, has had to miss a lot, just showing up is the important part.
Don't worry. Everybody's awkward.
Oh,
Fine.
He should have seen me yesterday. I was the epitome of awkward. It was great.
Like,
That's how we're all gonna be when we ever meet up.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the most awkward, like, first hour at least.
See,
you're a tangible human. What?
Look at that. I could like.
You think this, but you know either that Brian is going to have it, or depending on how big the group is, either Brian, Noah, or a combination of the above is going to have it set up, and it's going to be that scene in Lady and the Tramp. Hello, welcome. How is everybody doing? I have things for you. Sit down, eat. It's like, hi, I thought we were getting together to meet, not for a buffet. What do you mean you made everybody's favorite dish? How do you know everybody's favorite dish? How did you? What? Like, it's, trust me, this group, there's going to be so much food in the way, we won't have time to be awkward. Like, it'll be more like, did they just see me put a whole cupcake in my mouth?
We're gonna have that table like at the end of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, where it's just lined with food and just passing plates and talking.
Yeah. It's I don't know what the cat just ran through with, and I am not curious enough to go find out. She had something in her mouth. Yay.
So when I came back from boarding school, the superintendent at Oxford High School said because I skipped a grade in boarding school, I would have to not only go back to the grade that, like, with my peers, I would actually have to go back to do the grade I had skipped. So I'd actually be behind all of my fellow students that I had gone to school with for years. And I was like, oh no. I would rather just homeschool until I'm old enough to take the GED, which my mother hated, but my father said okay. And Lafayette County in northern Mississippi and Oxford, Mississippi had not paid for a truant officer at that point in 8 years. Not for any reason, they just didn't want to pay one. So all I had to do every year was file my curriculum with the county clerk, which was literally just a piece of paper that I typed up what I would be studying for the fall semester and the spring semester. I made crap up, and then I would go in with my father and turn it in, and she would notarize it and file it and make a copy and give it to me so I had proof that it had been notarized and filed. And so I was pretty much free all year. Like, it's not like she quizzed me. No, there was no follow-up to make sure I actually studied astronomy or chemistry or any. I just made it up. I didn't have to turn in any curriculum materials or cite them. Nothing.
Didn't even have to cite them?
I did not even have to cite them. She was like, well, where are you going to get this? I was like, the public library. She's like, okay. That's literally it. It's not, I don't think it's even on the paperwork. Well, anyway, maybe she wrote it in. I don't know. So it meant that I was pretty much free to do what I want. What I actually did for the rest of my high school education until I was old enough to take the GED and have it count was I just read the entire nonfiction section of the Oxford Public Library. And the head librarian helped me keep track of all the books so that I didn't do any twice and I didn't skip any books. It was great. And so that's what I actually did. But in the meantime, because I was a speed reader and I was working full-time as a babysitter and nanny, I still had a lot of free time. And my mother, one of her major objections to me homeschooling was that I wouldn't be properly socialized. Like, excuse me, I am not a puppy. But anyway, even though I was like working, taking care of kids, and I was working for adults all the time. Yeah, okay, lady. So my father's solution, and this is absolutely true, he would find out about various fraternity and sorority parties at Ole Miss and just make me crash them. He would crash them with me, drop me off, find one person, like in charge, and say, hey, yeah, remember I already talked to you about my 16-year-old daughter, like hanging out at your party? I'll be back in an hour or two to pick her up. Bye. And literally, when the movie The Gun and Betty Lou's Handbag filmed in Oxford, Mississippi, my father made friends with the director, and I got an invitation to the wrap after, filming the wrap-up party, and literally just wandered around for several hours one night at this random after-party wrap party with all of these, teamsters, actors, and, production staff. Just wandered awkwardly around, and occasionally people stop me and go, hey, what's up? What do you do? And I'm like, I babysit and nanny. I got a couple jobs out of it, to like take care of other people's kids. I got a free guitar out of it. A random man was like, I don't want to ship this back to LA. You want this? And I'm like, yes, I do. Thank you very much. Could I play? No. Did I turn around and sell it later? Yes. That got my whole family a Christmas one year. It was a good guitar. But like just showed up to parties and walking awkwardly around, like, because I wasn't drinking, 16. And I really went into that anyway. I had heard stories about women who drink at random house parties and like wake up and they don't know where they are kind of thing. And so instead, just hang out. Yes, I used to hang out at all these, northern Mississippi blues musicians and their jam bands. And met, all these people, including R.L. Burnside. And yes, I have met Muddy Waters. And, but like, yeah. Like, he was just like, what is this random 16-year-old white girl doing? Literally said it out loud on his way. What is this happening? Because I was just literally walking in front to get a different seat to sit down because I like the music. And I was like, oh, I just wanted to listen to the music. Is that okay? He's like, yeah, sit over there. Told me where to sit. So I moved. I sat there for 2 hours till my father's like, but you ready to go? Oh, do we have to go? Muddy Waters stopped playing. Was like, we're going to take a break because he wanted to talk to my father. What happened? Did you like lose her? Did she wander the country road to here? Because it was the middle of nowhere in North Mississippi. And my father's like, no, I tried to socialize her. Her mother's upset she's homeschooling. So I tried to send her to parties so she could socialize. He's like, uh-huh. Yes, my father was also autistic. Anyway.
Surprising that there's not a Muddy Waters song called Homeschool Girl. He seemed to write a song about everything,
Yeah, it's true. But like my point just being, you could be as awkward as you could possibly manage. Please understand I was so awkward. I did not know how to behave. I grew up in 1980s movies where people just sort of stand around holding a solo cup. So I'd always go get a solo cup. It was often empty, literally empty, until enough people criticized me at these parties that I started putting ice. It's dry, just ice. All right. Because like everything would be alcohol. And then I started noticing. So if everything's alcohol, then I started making my father get me a can of Sprite to take into the party with me. So I could put the Sprite in the cup. If I couldn't find a cup, I just hold the Sprite can. People then stop me and go, oh, where'd you find the Sprite? I'm like, I brought it with me. They're like, oh. That is how awkward I was. It was the early to mid-90s, okay? But my point just being, do not ever worry about being awkward.
Yeah, no.
Worry about disappearing in obscurity because you never left the house. You never went out to be anywhere with people. I understand introverts get real peopled out fast. They need that, alone time. And I really do get that because I have so much social anxiety. It's not the same, but it's kind of. It feels as draining, trust me. It's just a different part of the brain, I gather. But my point being, I have actually made friends with a couple really good people because we both were the awkward person at a party.
Oh, yes.
Eyes met, and it's like, hey, so have you seen any food here? Oh, I have. I will show you where the cake is. There's cake. Yeah, it's hidden in a closet. Oh, show me the cake. And then you start talking. I have made like very good lifelong friends that way. I have made very good friends standing in the line for the bathroom and going, your hair is amazing. Please tell me you paid for it and you did not just get born this way and roll out of bed. And then like getting in a conversation, finding out, oh, they're a hairstylist and they were experimenting on their hair and they're just thrilled somebody even noticed that they look nice.
My best friend and I met on a retreat at school on the bus. We knew somebody else that was in a class with us, and we just started chatting, and then we got in the same cabin, and then we were inseparable ever since.
It's like, look, you're not always going to connect with someone at a strange party, but you might. And even if you didn't, see what used to happen is, but people would notice me there, and then they'd see me the next time, or they see me at the mall. Yeah, that's how old I am. That in the 90s, we all hung out at the mall.
Oh, the mall.
Even the adults. Anyway, but they'd see me, and then they'd strike up a conversation there. Or I'd go to get like an ice cream cone at the mall, and the girl behind the counter would be like, "Hey, didn't I see you at a party last month?" And I'd be like, "I don't know, maybe which party?" And she's like, "I can't remember, but you were walking around with a Sprite." Like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, no, that's definitely me. And she's like, cool. And then, so how much is it? Because I love bubblegum ice cream, y'all. Like, okay, that's my secret fatal flaw. And now I can't have it because it always has red 40. But back in the day, like, I'm the only person who ever eats bubblegum ice cream. And she's like, you can just have it. Shh, don't tell. And I'm just walking away like, I was like, oh, we are friends now? Stop me at the next party. And she's like, I will do it. Because I never have anyone to talk to. And like that is what I mean of like, just go be awkward at places.
Like the topper on this, like when Gloria says it doesn't matter how awkward you are, one of the few childhood friends that I have that I am still friends with to this day was this girl that I met at a party that it was 20 years later. She finally struck up the courage to tell me that she was only talking to me at the She only came over to me at the party because she liked me and wanted to date, but didn't have the courage to tell me at the time. And then we became friends and didn't know how to bring it up. And I just didn't seem to be interested for reasons that became obvious sometime later. But she felt like, she's like, I feel like our entire relationship has been built on false pretenses, and I feel like I need to explain. And I'm like, wait, what? And
like, I've been friend-zoned for decades, but it's cool because I understand it was always going to be this way.
It was always going to be like this. But it was just like, it was literally like 20 years later. She was just like, do you remember how we met? And I was like, oh, yeah. And I started telling the story. She's like, oh, that's where, but not how. I'm like, what? And like she finally decided to tell me like the full story.
Another one of my close friends, and she knew exactly what I was doing. We met in college. I was going to the community college, and there was this guy I knew from grade school. And I don't know if it was just in general social awkwardness. He did not know how to like look a girl in the eye. When he talked to a woman, he was looking here.
Oh, yeah.
And he always tried to get overly friendly. And I'm just like, hey. Somehow he remembered me. And after not seeing me for 4 years in high school, like, I don't know.
I'm not going to say anything.
I think we were both silent for the same reason.
Yeah, that's who I was talking to you, Charlie. I'm not saying anything. No, we're both. It's a silent pact.
So he was taking classes at the community college as well, and I saw him in the cafeteria, and I was trying to hide from him. And I just sat down at this table of people, and I was like, I don't want somebody to know I'm here. Can I just sit here for a minute till he leaves? And they're like, oh yeah, welcome. And then
I have so much cat fluff on my face from when Minerva was very clear that I was not there to pet her, just to be a perch on which she could show affection. But she left so much cat fuzz on my face that I feel I'm all itchy. I'm going to need to go wash my face because every time I think I've got all the cat fuzz off, I'm like, why is my nose itchy? Oh, cat fuzz.
Wow,
How much cat fuzz did she leave on me?
You need to get one of those roller things, the sticky paper one. You can just roll your face. I have done that.
She was so convinced that I was not supposed to be petting her and that I was so dumb. I don't know if you saw her do the weird corkscrew on my lap. She was slowly walking onto my hands, so I had to hold her up with my hands, so my hands were occupied, so she could be happy and I would not be able to try to pet her. Like that. That was the whole point of that weird maneuver thing that she was doing. Like, no, I need to sit on these.
So confused on Sunday because Anna and I are both staying over, and It's gonna be a time.
Alrighty. So it's about that time for us to go. I hope you learned a few things. I hope you had a good time. More than anything, and from what I'm hearing from the people that have contacted me about this, excuse me, they really like just a place where people are talking and sharing good stories, and really just it's giving people a kind of a fuzzy feeling that they like. So hopefully you got whatever it is you came here for. Hopefully you have a wonderful new year. I'm going to be taking next week off from pretty much everything. I am in a desperate need to creatively recharge. I have emptied my barrel. Well, actually, I did not empty my barrel. Somebody shot it with a shotgun repeatedly for weeks and let all of the water out. But they're no longer in my life, so I can plug up all of those holes and refill it. Because every time I refilled it, it got shot up with. So I'm going to be.
Yes, Brian.
What did you say?
Quoting a bad song.
Oh. Well, he says I'm quoting a bad song. I'll stop. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing a bit of a recharge and a reevaluation of just about everything, because the other thing that I do this time of year with everything in my life, and I highly recommend people do this as well, is Marie Kondo everything. Not just the stuff that's in your house, but the things that you do. Picking them up, holding them in your arms and going, do you spark joy? Because look, I'm tired of things not. I'm just tired. I'm tired, y'all. I'm just tired. So every little thing, from not just like, am I going to be continuing various podcasts or things, but also, do I like the host that they're on? Does the host spark joy? Where are things going to be? How's everything going to shake out? I'm going to be doing like the full winter cleaning that I do every year at about this time, just to try to figure out what it is that I'm wanting to do. I have a lot of plans and stuff for the year to come. And so a lot of it is, if I am doing all of this, how does this fit into my life? So if you wonder where I am, that's where I'm going to be. I will still be in the Discord. I'll probably be in the Discord more than I have been, just because I will not be as distracted by this, that, and the other thing, because I have told most everyone that I'm not working. So there's a couple people I still need to get back on, because I you see me looking at my phone. I'm like, oh, there's somebody I forgot to tell that I am taking a week off. They're making a to-do list for me. I just get to check my mail when this is over and be like, oh, yes, I would love to help with that. Like I said, I would, but not for a week or two. If that's like going to be a problem, sorry. It's my year of no. I don't know what year you all are going to have. I'm having a year of no, and I'm so looking forward to it. No idea. You can check out all of these wonderful people over on Substack. If you go to myprojectshadow.com, you will find everybody linked there for their Substacks linked for your easy access. You can also check out the Substack for all of the spiritual stuff that I do over at creationspaths.com. And a few people, I believe I linked over there. I feel weird. I never know where recommendations should be coming from or to. Like, cross-pollinating audiences is weird, y'all. I'm still working on that. That's one of the things that I'm going to be talking to people about later, is where do you want your recommendations to be? Because I do too much. Hi. Yeah. Does anybody have anything that they would like to say before we run off?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for being here. We will definitely be back with something. I heard you unmute. What?
I was getting ready to say goodbye.
All righty. Well, on that note, bye.
Bye.
Bye.